What's going on, everyone? Hello, and welcome to episode 10 of Post Credits Podcast, a podcast where we talk about movies. This is episode 10, and in this episode, we discuss the film Nosferatu and our thoughts on where it sits in the industry. I'm one of your hosts, Grayson Maxwell. Joining me, as I do every week, are my co-hosts Roger Stillion and Chris Bond. Guys, I got nothing for you this week. I have been sick, as you can tell from the sound of my voice, and I have a lozenge in my mouth.
A lozenge.
To, suck on.
What movie does Jim Carrey ask you if you're interested in a lozenge?
Lozenge, that's it, like a lozenge.
Yeah.
Oh, guys, I've been going through it. How has your week been, gentlemen?
It's good.
Mm-hmm.
It's good.
Yeah, good. Been busy.
It was Christmas.
Yep.
You know that happened.
Did you guys?
Christmas was great. Family's in for New Year's now too, so we've been whenever my family's in, we play a lot of board games, do a lot of like gaming stuff. So
yeah, a lot of fun.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's just been busy, and got work stuff happening on my end. Wife's got a new job starting, so there's a lot of stuff. But yeah, it's good. Been a good week.
I see you showed up again with more
Japanese candy,
bountiful candies from Japan. You just randomly have in your pocket.
It's not random. It was planned. I promise.
In your pocket.
There's an entire suitcase.
Yeah.
Full of candy.
Fettuccine by Gummy, Coca-Cola flavored.
Mm-hmm. Trying to be Coca-Cola flavored.
No, I actually thought it was not bad.
Oh no.
Maybe later we'll open this one too, and we'll see what that's like.
You should. They're good.
It's just to get a visual.
Yeah.
Damn,
look at that.
Beautiful. Chris loves them. Chris loves them.
Yep. They're very good. Very good.
Chris is planning his trip back to Japan. He's going to become a Yakuza over there. Forget all about us.
I only have the stomach for being a Yakuza.
Already in the works. Anyway, guys, what else is going on? Anything?
No, not really.
Mm-mm.
Watched some movie.
Watched
about
movie?
A vampire.
Yeah, I watched something. Oh, I started Arcane finally. Season 2.
Season 2.
Me and the wife,
Okay.
yeah.
Do you see the article I sent you?
Yes, I did.
That's a pretty cool. That's
$250 million for that?
Huh?
$250 million for Arcane.
Yep.
That's so much money.
I mean, listen, whenever you're ready, man, watch it. It's
no,
worth
I
it. It's
I
worth
have.
your
I
time.
watched the first season.
Yeah.
So
it's good, right?
well, yeah, no, it's very good TV.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm just shocked and somewhat horrified that it costs basically $100 million to make, what was it, 10?
9 episodes.
9
episodes.
30-minute episodes?
Yeah.
That's a
I
lot.
think that's the way it goes, though. Animation is not cheap.
Good animation.
Good animation is not cheap. I mean, Lord of the Rings was, I think, that's a different kind of animation, but it was, again, an investment to keep keep that name with them, Lord of the Rings. So,
yeah.
But Arcane is top of the list as far as people are concerned for animation. As far as Netflix is concerned, it's absolutely top of the line. So.
Yeah.
I am very excited to get through that again. It's a show I didn't expect to like, and you kind of browbeat me into liking it last year. So
no, it's very good. It's very good.
Yeah, I'm very excited. We got one third of the way through it. There's only 6 episodes left now, but it's just I don't know. I'm excited to watch the rest of it. Very excited there. Had a movie debate come up with my family. Of one of my family members, my cousin-in-law. Is that what that is? When your cousin gets married to somebody, something like that. Anyway.
I mean, that's just some guy.
or girl, but still.
Or lady.
Yeah.
We don't discriminate here.
So she recently watched Interstellar in IMAX for the first time. She's never seen the movie before.
Okay.
And she was talking about how the movie was literally life-changing. She's thinking about changing careers. She's got like 2 quantum physics books on the way. She like joked around about how like she's like it's become her whole personality.
She should just grow corn.
Or that. Well, so she said I saw it twice pretty quickly, so I want to watch it one more time and decide if it's my favorite movie.
Whoa.
Well, recently
that's a bold thing to.
I watched it too recently, and I'm in the same boat where I'm pretty sure it's like in my top 3 at least.
Interstellar is awesome. Like it's a great film.
I've decided I need to watch Interstellar one more time because I watched my first 2 showings pretty close. I watched it and then I watched it again on my TV instead of on my phone.
I mean, we only tried to tell you to watch Interstellar.
I know
for like fucking 5 years.
I know. So watched it twice. Now that it's been some time, though, I want to watch it again, and then I need to rewatch Chernobyl because Chernobyl is my my unabashedly it's like my favorite thing in media that I've seen.
Sure.
It's just it's impactful. It affects me every time I watch it. So I want to rewatch Interstellar and then rewatch Chernobyl and really decide like what is like my favorite piece of media at this point, because I think it could be Interstellar because it's such a good
Interstellar
film.
is one of those things, man. It's a very well written, mediocre film.
Mediocre.
I think it's not.
Oh.
I don't think it's worthy of like some of the best of Nolan, but
oh man,
it is damn good.
I don't know. When a movie affects you in the way it does, man, like Oppenheimer was that with me. Like when we watched Oppenheimer, I thought about Oppenheimer for like a week and a half, 2 weeks. Like I couldn't stop thinking about it and like the movie and all the different moments in the movie.
Well, Interstellar is considered one of his worst.
That's how Interstellar was for me though. Like it was affecting. Like afterwards, I was like I couldn't stop thinking about it. And now that I've been validated by someone else who also can't stop thinking about it, I'm like, okay, then maybe this is it.
Well, let me ask you another question. So you came into like, you've just now entering like with this show, like the movie part of your life where like you watch movies that are more critical eye.
Yeah.
Yep.
So have you seen the Prestige?
No, not since
I want to
then.
talk about mind blowing.
Yeah.
That one to me,
Right.
and the one where Robin Williams is the bad guy, and it's the remake of Insomnia
I've seen that.
with
Yeah,
Pacino. I love that one, Prestige. How about Inception? I'm sure you've seen Inception.
I've seen Inception.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think when you watch the Prestige, you'll understand why I say what I said about Interstellar.
All right.
Because I think personally the Prestige is on a whole different level. But again, that's just my personal opinion.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people have to think differently.
Mhm.
It's just when I rank the Nolan films, Prestige is always higher than Interstellar.
Interstellar made me read a book, and movies don't do that to me.
Whoa.
That's high praise.
Well, that's what sent me down to Project Hail Mary.
Sure.
I was itching for something sci-fi. So
Yeah, fuck yeah.
yeah.
Good stuff.
Yep. Very good. Very good.
Oh, good.
So,
I
yeah.
bet you're surprised when I said about Interstellar, weren't you?
That's a book everybody should read.
Fair
Yeah.
enough.
Project Hail
Well,
Mary.
what else is going on, guys, before we get into the show? Anything?
I think that's it.
You guys loving this 60 and balmy degree weather?
Oh, listen. I mean, I don't know.
No.
I'm at the age now where like I don't really care about winter lasting long. I want it to snow a couple times, get my fix that way, and then
I want you to understand if there was 6 inches of snow on the ground, to be wearing the exact same outfit I'm wearing right now.
Would be.
Which includes shorts. So
Yep.
I don't care.
Um,
Totally indifferent.
So this week I was sick. Pretty much as soon as I landed, I got awful sickness.
Mhm.
So I just was in bed. For
I
a
wish
few
that
days.
upon you, actually.
Thanks. I appreciate that, Roger, so much.
Yes.
I watched the Mike Banning trilogy. Olympus Has Fallen, London Has Fallen, Angel Has Fallen. I love those movies, and I'm very happy there's
strong
2
movie
more on
set.
the way, Roger.
A lot of dude stuff.
A lot of dude stuff.
Did you watch Plane as well? Because that fits right into that same universe.
Plane does fall. like,
Plane's actually not that bad either. I like Plane a
No,
lot.
Plane's
It's just-
fucking great. You know they're making a sequel to that too, right?
I sure hope so. That's
And-
what. Who was the other guy in that? Will Coulter?
will that be like
Mike
Speed?
Coulter.
Will that
Mike
be?
Coulter. Okay.
Will that be like Speed and Speed 2?
Well,
like,
so
like
do you-
another
do you
another
know
reason
that-
why the same person is on a plane that
The
crashes.
sequel to Plane is called Ship. And I'm
Stop.
not even fucking kidding.
Stop.
I am not
I mean, look,
kidding.
that's actually kind of clever. I think that's kind of clever in like because like Plane was. You're supposed to watch Plane like you watch an '80s action film.
Yeah.
Enjoy it for what it is. You're not supposed to look at it in a more critical eye and like, oh well, I'm not going to win an Oscar. Well, it's not trying to. It's trying to. Gerard Butler's trying to entertain the people that like Gerard Butler.
And it fucking worked.
So that's my point. Is like it's fine.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really enjoyed, and there's magic, especially in Angel Has Fallen. Like there's this weird magic that I never really considered when you get the scenes with I forgot completely. Nick Nolte was in that as his father.
Oh yeah, his dad,
The
his
scene
crazy ass
between-
dad.
His father and his wife, of how they. I know, Chris, you hate this camera work, but like it's shot over the shoulder where like it's kind of
Yeah,
the
like-
wandering eye.
Yeah.
It's like there's some magic there.
The
but,
Wandering
like,
Eye isn't as bad as just that pure shaky cam stuff, but
I love
get you.
Wandering
Like
Eye.
this.
I know you do.
Thank you, Born
Yeah, just like
Identity,
that,
for
yeah,
giving us
Yes. Where are we going? I don't know.
But anyway, let's get into a show. We have a lot to discuss.
It actually worked out way better than I thought it would when I started just violently shaking the camera.
Let's get into a show. I think this is going to be a fairly divisive movie between us.
Maybe.
I have a
Maybe.
feeling it will be.
Depends on the middle discussion.
Once again, folks, this is episode 10 of Post Credits Podcast, where we talk about movies. This week, we have the good fortune of talking about Nosferatu.
And corpses.
But before that, we were going to get into the box office. Then we're going to bring you a movie recommendation, which I didn't prepare. but
Oh
on the fly.
no.
And then we're going to our
Don't
favorite
worry, the movie
vampire
recommendation is
and then
fucking Blade.
We're going to do our favorite vampire movie, which
Fucking
is
Blade.
whichever Twilight movie we all choose.
Mm,
And then we're
true.
going to do the
There are
list
4.
of-
We don't have.
Then we're going to do a list of vampire movies, a list of 30, but we're probably going to do a top 10, and then we're going to talk about Nosferatu.
All right, let's do it.
But without further ado, as I'm told, without further ado, let's get into the box
Au
office.
jus, like the stuff you dip sandwiches
Oh, that
in.
stuff's so good.
It is, man. It's like
I could use a good au jus sauce. to
French
dip
dip
into.
sandwich.
It
Yeah.
happens quite often.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about number 1, Sonic the Hedgehog. I have recently boarded the Sonic train. as I'm so very sick of seeing Disney trying to backpedal and say why it's being outperformed by Sonic. Just admit you got outperformed. What's the problem here? I just don't get it.
Wait, you weren't on the Sonic train before though?
You guys remember I was on the Mufasa
Oh, that's
train.
right. That's right. Yeah.
But Sonic the Hedgehog 3 is doing quite
Wrong
well for
again
itself.
for Mr. Grayson.
Yes, thank you very much. I appreciate that. $38 million for the Christmas week for Sonic brings us 211 worldwide. Thank you, Roger.
211. All right.
My goodness, you and your
That's-
weird hair top. Can
So hold on.
go
So
away.
211 for Sonic 3. That puts it still in third place out of all three Sonic movies, right? But it has
Sure.
time
Yes.
For now,
making
yeah.
money.
Mufasa 37.1
Close,
with a
baby.
worldwide of 327. Now here's the important part: the international itself 214 is more than the worldwide for Sonic.
Yep.
But after doing some reflection and research and seeing all the apologists for Disney, it's like movies have to stand for themselves. And Chris, what do you always say?
You have to be okay with the decisions that you make.
100% agree. And if just people aren't liking Mufasa, then Disney, you just have to own up to it that you made a movie people just aren't digging and just move on with it. It's not like you're not going to bankroll from this. But anyway, so I just want to say that we will not be covering Mufasa, but if you liked it, more power to you then. Nosferatu number 3, 21.2 with a worldwide of 43, which I think is pretty wonderful for a Dave Eggers film. Very happy. We're going to talk about that one a little later. Wicked is still pulling him in 19.5 million with a worldwide. Chris, you might be happy at this. 634. I don't know why you're going to be happy.
I would not be. I didn't really enjoy Wicked, but it wasn't for me. So my kids and my wife loved it. So.
Well, there you go. I mean, that's a
no.
success.
So they're very excited because I think we saw, my wife pointed out that it's going to be available to purchase or rent, I think, on Wednesday.
Soon, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm sure.
On New Year's.
Of course it is.
So that's.
I mean, like, here's the thing: Wicked's going to clear 650 worldwide at least, maybe 7.
I think that makes it the most. Well, I think at least in the top 3 of most successful Broadway movies, like Broadway adaptations made to movies of all time.
Well,
musical
Wicked's
movies.
incredibly popular musical. So
and it's well done, whether you like it or not.
It is.
Like,
No,
there's
yeah.
a lot of production.
That was one of the
into
things I said about it. Like I can see, all like how much went into this and how good it and
Don't
how
worry.
good the production is.
We get to have the same discussion in about 11 months.
Yep.
So
Yep.
be ready.
My nightmare. It's
I mean,
fine.
the talent was incredible. So we will have another discussion. Moana 2, number 5, 18.2 million domestic with a worldwide of 882.
Jeez.
That movie to me is, again, as mediocre as you get, and it's making so much money. I'm
Yeah,
saying it shouldn't. It just,
It's pretty much
I'm
tapped
wondering
out, though.
why, I guess. Have you seen it, Chris?
Yeah.
Did you think any of the songs? See, we talked about it.
No. Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I didn't think any of the songs were memorable at all.
We can't think. We like me and my wife just.
I couldn't name a single song.
Yeah, we couldn't remember a single song last
but
night.
I can still name for you in the lyrics of at least 2 of the original.
Oh,
Moana.
I could recite the movie.
Yeah, that's
at that point.
my
Yeah,
point.
Yeah. It is what it is, though. But like, I don't know. Moana 2 just felt like it didn't have the heart. It felt like it was something that they put out because
Corporate cash grab, baby.
Yep, they had to, and I think, and again, I'll stand by this. I think Moana 2 got pushed up for something because something else got pushed back for Disney, and they had to put something out, and Moana 2 was just ready.
Well, just remember, Moana 2 was supposed to be a Disney Plus series.
Yeah.
So.
Well,
yeah.
Whatever the case may be, that's making great money. Good for them. I'm really hoping. But there's the live action, which is separate from.
Yep.
Because they're continuing with the Moana 3 animated.
Yes.
I just found out.
Yeah.
So, and they're not.
What do you think
related at all,
Moana
which
3 was
is
going to be
odd,
the
but-
live action?
Well, yeah. Think about some of the live action stuff already. Nothing's connected to the old animation works. You know what I mean? It's just it's either reshoots or reimaginings of the original stuff.
Sure, and I
so
get
that makes
but-
sense for them to go down the same path.
Again, though.
It's just so soon.
Yeah, who cares?
Yeah. I don't think we need it.
No.
Guys, I feel like my throat is on fire.
Good.
I gotta be honest, it's bad. But anyway,
Get you another lozenge.
6 through 10. No, I'm gonna do one. I have hot cider I prepared to.
Would you like a fettuccine gummy?
A fettuccine. You know what? Yeah, why not? I'll try a
Sure,
fettuccine.
Would you guys be opposed to getting a sponsor that pays us in yen?
No, fuck no.
All right, I'll work on it.
That's like, I don't even want to talk about how accurate that tastes. It's bothering. It's worrisome to me. They're able to condense that into a gummy.
Anyway,
6 through 10. A Complete Unknown, Baby Girl, Gladiator 2 still kicking. Homestead and The Fire Inside. Let's take a look at Gladiator 2. Again, I've had thoughts about this movie, but it's only sitting at 435.
Gladiator 2 is now available to rent.
It is. So it's sitting at 435, and we all saw it. Have your guys' thoughts on Gladiator 2 changed, or mine have gotten worse? I'm the apologist for Gladiator 2.
Well, here's the thing. I haven't thought about Gladiator 2 beyond us talking about it,
Nope.
and I think that says enough about my thoughts on Gladiator 2. It's a movie that it was unfortunately forgettable.
Well, the thing is like I know I talked to you guys about this, and like here's the Gladiator 2 is fine. Like that's it. It's fine. The fuck did they make a second Gladiator movie?
Well, the problem that I lost a little respect for Ridley Scott. And I say this because I really thought he was going to be able to do it. Like all that garbage he talked the other year about. Look, I will die on that hill with saying everything should be released theatrically. I will always die on that hill. You guys know that. However,
Sure.
I'm not going to tell people how to watch things. Remember, he called, what did he say? Millennials were all idiots for watching things on their phones.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
I mean,
buddy,
if
that's
you're
your
gonna say
core
something like
audience
that-
now.
I watched Interstellar and Blade Runner 2049 on my phone on a plane, and I loved them just as much as I would have watched it on the
God,
screen.
Blade Runner 2049, such a fucking. Was that your first time watching it?
That was my first time watching it.
Oh yeah, what'd you think of that?
That was a good movie
That
too.
fucking shit
Wait,
rules.
what was it? Sorry?
Blade Runner 2049. I finally watched it too. It was really good.
Yeah, buddy.
Blade Runner 2049, Top Gun Maverick are, I think,
The
two
best
of
movies to watch on your phone.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Two of the best movies, like 30 years later sequels
Mm.
out there. But
Yeah. Blade Runner. Fucking
Blade Runner's a hell of a
nerds.
movie.
Oh, it was.
God
It was. I can't wait to watch it on a TV now. But like, yeah, I watched that on the way to Japan. Actually.
Well, but my point is, Ridley, make a movie that makes us watch on the big screen rather than a mediocre product.
telling us that we have to.
else.
So I have a question. You said that you lost some respect for Ridley Scott.
A little bit.
Do you think he cares?
Nope.
No, not at all. He's worth, I'm sure, probably close to $1 billion.
Yeah.
You
All
think
of his
Ridley
properties.
Scott listens to our show?
I hope he does.
Ridley Scott, if you want to come on the show, please, reach out.
Grayson says you're not fucking welcome here.
Honestly, I would take a
Gonna be
strongly
coughing.
written email from his assistant and read it on the show.
Right.
It doesn't have to be him. You know what I mean?
From his assistant, cease and desist, talking about my client.
My goodness
God.
gracious. That's
I can't wait to get copyright struck by Ridley Scott
that'd be so
himself. It's going to be
fucking
great.
I'm just so upset.
If
You
that
guys
does
know
happen,
how
I will
excited
film the YouTube thing and put it online.
was. Ridley just beating me into a pulse. You won't even stop him. Just film it.
Oh
Thanks,
my
guys. I
God.
appreciate that.
That meant when they send the cease and desist letter.
Yeah.
It's
There
fine.
you go. Okay. Well, that's the box office. Well, we got off the rails. Jesus.
Nah,
Listen,
fucking
we were just
fine.
just enough on the rails to make it work.
You know what, Ridley? I'm not. I'm not.
Just
Gladiator 2 is what it is, man. You made it. So I'm just disappointed in you, Ridley. I'm very disappointed. I'm not mad.
Hang him up,
I'm
bud.
disappointed.
Hang him up.
that?
Told him to hang him up.
hang him up.
Hanged up. All right. That was the box office. Any surprises for you guys
Nope.
between Sonic and Mufasa? Or is it
I'm
pretty much
surprised
what
it's
you
as
expect?
close as it is.
I'm surprised. Yeah, I'm surprised that Mufasa is as close to Sonic as it is right now. Just because, again, no one asked for Mufasa, but here we are. But here's the thing.
Everybody wanted a third Sonic movie, though.
Yeah, I was going to say everyone's ready for Sonic.
Well,
Well, the
Sure.
reason, one of the reasons why it's close is because the domestic and the worldwide don't match up right now, right? So
Not yet.
So
I
just
mean,
wait
listen,
and
we'll
see.
we'll see by the end of the year, or
Mhm.
by the end of the next season, I
Yeah.
guess, where it really all shakes out.
Mhm.
So,
so for the movie recommendation, which is my turn this week,
Yeah, we got
fucking Blade.
I like Blade. I like all the old vampire movies.
All of them?
Vampire is
There's
on
no-
Max if you have that. I've always now a movie that I will always watch. Same with like 28 Days Later, 28 Weeks Later. For me, is 30 Days of Night. I like 30 Days of Night quite a bit. I don't think it's great, but I think it achieves what it sets out to do. With it creates that wonderful atmosphere of complete hopelessness. What is that in Alaska? They're in
yeah. Last
where in Alaska, when a couple of survivors are just trying to survive long enough for the daylight to come and save them. Josh Hartnett is in it. Danny Houston, Ben Foster, and Melissa George. Those are the top liners. It's an adaptation from a
Graphic novel.
graphic novel
Yep.
about a vampire that comes ahead of the rest of them, burns all the cell phones so no one can communicate, and they're trying to hunt everyone down in this small town in Alaska, kill them all, and then move on to their next post. But they don't move on until everyone is dead in this small town. And I think the movie does a good job in creating that atmosphere of complete and utter hopelessness, and
Oh yeah, they're stuck there.
and it's just they can't do anything. It's got some wonderful action scenes. I think it's just one of those movies that works when it probably shouldn't. If that makes sense. I don't know, how do you guys feel about
when
30 Days of
Hartnett's
Night?
character punches that dude through his head, like at the end of the movie?
Yeah.
Awesome. So, fun fact is, I actually once worked 30 Days of Night into a best man speech. So, I want you to understand, 30 Days of Night is special to me in a different way.
All right.
How did you do that? Like,
Well, so my buddy got married many years ago, but it was in December. Okay, and it was a December where we actually had snow, and it snowed significantly on his wedding day. Okay, they were getting married at like 4:00 in the afternoon, right? So, like, the wedding got delayed because like it was
People
bad.
can't get there.
Yeah, right. So like once everybody got there, it was fine, but like it was pitch black. Snow was just coming down.
Jeez.
And this was like right after 30 Days of Night came out. So like when I was giving the best man speech, like I was like, I didn't know what I was getting into tonight. I was like, who knows who's getting out of here?
Yep.
Which wasn't quite as funny as what I thought it was in my head. But yeah, I definitely did that.
Grandma didn't appreciate.
No, it wasn't my family. His family, though, I don't know. So maybe I was a little intoxicated.
Oh, I mean,
it may have been an inappropriate.
It was not. I didn't swear. So
all right. Kudos.
That's
My brother swore during his
course
best
he
man
did.
speech. So
it's very fitting.
Were you mad at him?
No.
no, I didn't care.
Oh, okay.
No.
Did your wife care?
No, she didn't care either.
See?
She
then
was
it's fine.
We were both very intoxicated already by that point. It's a good time.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to talk about a lot of vampire movies here coming up, but that's just one I always enjoy that I think kind of really encapsulates vampires. It's available on Pluto. It's not available anywhere
Pluto
else,
TV,
but it's just one that I've always really enjoyed, and if I see it on streaming, I'll usually stop and watch it.
Do you guys think it's tough to make a modern vampire movie?
I do.
I think it's got to be like hard, right?
Well, yeah, because I don't know, making a movie that has any fantastical elements at all, dragons, werewolves, vampires, all that in set it in modern day is always going to be difficult because there's so many more answers and there's so many more like obstacles in the way of like these old like monster threats, these kinds of things that it makes them less scary. It's like, we have different things to combat these supernatural beings at this point. So it's kind of hard. It takes away some of that horror element of what those creatures are. So I don't know. Yeah, I think it is harder.
Is it really like the modern problems require modern solutions?
Yeah.
Well, there's a vampire. Fucking shoot him in the face. That's really the answer.
I mean, honestly, it's like there's a werewolf. We have Abram tanks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if it came down to it, I'm pretty sure a shell the size of a Volvo will probably take that out. It's not made of silver. Who cares? You know what I mean? Run it over a couple of times.
Still have uranium coated rounds.
Yeah,
fine.
I mean, that still has significant stopping power.
He keeps regenerating. Cut him into pieces then.
Yeah.
Like melt him with acid.
Feed him through the wood chipper for the next 44 years.
Just wood chipper and like a circle of wood chippers. Yes.
Yeah, perfect. You know what I mean? So yeah, modern solutions.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think that does take away from it. I think that's why you see more period piece versions.
Actually, you wouldn't even need like a circle of wood chippers. Like if you had a wood
usually
chipper,
4.
No, 2. So if you had a wood chipper, right?
Yeah.
And you have it like go up against like something to catch it, filters it right back into the next wood chipper, back to the next one, and just bounce it back and forth.
Well, I was thinking of the square theory, right? Like you have one that you have the feed, right, and then it shoots out, and then you have that one angled the other way, shoots into the next square.
I was thinking just like linear though, like one into the other.
Oh, okay.
This is why you people come here.
I think it works either way.
Come here. Talk about.
Listen, I have engineer friends. So like we'll discuss this.
Right? Yeah.
Like I have people coming to my house on New Year's. We'll figure this shit out.
I'll have my guys talk too.
That's right. That's right. Get them together.
We'll compare solutions.
So vampires just going from one wood chipper to the next.
Yeah, as it's shredded. Like even if it starts to reconstitute, like by the time it like gels back into what it just fed right back into another wood chipper and just like a constant state of like fluid. Just.
I'm gonna write this out. I'll have it for you guys next.
Sure.
Week.
College educated. This guy.
Rob. Yeah, no, true.
Yes, I am actually.
Well college educated too. Well college educated.
Yes.
Well, we're going to talk about some movies, but let's get into it. Let's talk about our favorite vampire movies.
Well,
30 Days of Night was not my favorite.
Okay. I was going to say.
why don't we start? Go ahead around them. Since I just talked about one, Chris, go
All
ahead.
Mine's not as
Fucking Blade.
all right. I'll go first. It was between two of them, and I guess it depends on how I'm feeling in that season. But right now, I'm feeling very Van
Twilight New
Helsing.
Moon.
Van Helsing, I think, is a super fun vampire movie.
Eclipse Man.
It is absolutely a blast to watch. I think it holds up even now with its CGI. It was, I feel like, ahead of its time. Like that's where the budget for that film went. A lot of it, anyway. That and Hugh Jackman. I don't know. It's just a fun film. I think all the way through is just a wild ride. I think is what you said, and I very much agree with that.
I always wondered why we never got a second Van Helsing movie. Like it just seemed like ripe for a sequel, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, I mean, we got League of Extraordinary Gentlemen close around that time too.
Well, I mean, sure.
And
Similar.
I feel like the animation, like the CGI, is very similar between the two movies. Almost like I expect Sean
Well, it's
Connery
probably made by
to
the same
show up in
studio.
Van Helsing sometimes.
I think those are both Lionsgate. So
That makes sense.
Probably
that
was the
makes
same
I
sense.
see the logo, but maybe I'm wrong about that. But,
Yeah.
Or Universal because of the
Yeah.
monsters. One of
Maybe.
those, but
Yeah, but yeah. So anyway, I like Van Helsing a lot. I think it's the most fun version of a vampire movie I can watch. Like, I can watch that with my kids, and they won't get hyper scared of everything, for the next 4 nights. So I think that would be like the one to go to for me as well at this point. So I like Van Helsing. It's fun. What about you, Roger?
Do all the Underworlds count as one vampire movie?
No, because there are better and worse underworld
do all
films.
the Resident Evil movies count as one Resident Evil movie?
Yeah,
Yes.
see, we don't want that
Yes.
either. We don't want that
Yes,
either.
they
'Cause
do.
There's one good one and one decent one in there.
No, I mean honestly, jokes aside, some of the Underworld movies aren't half bad. But I mean, the best vampire movie is fucking Interview with a Vampire.
Yeah.
You guys are both wrong. So,
Well, that's the other one I would go between.
yeah, I mean that's just an incredible
Mhm.
movie.
it is. It really is.
Yeah. So There you go.
The scene where the
little
gr-
tiny Kirsten Dunst.
yeah the Kirsten Dunst vampire girl that dies
Yep.
scarred me. I felt that was,
Yeah, no, it's scary. as
I thought
shit.
that was crazy to see it on screen because
There's a lot of sexy vampire in that movie though too.
There is, but then all of a sudden there's a dead kid and I'm like, no, that could be me, and then I realize I'm not a vampire, so it's fine.
Yet.
So I kind of have two responses to this. The real response is Blade 2 is what changed everything for me as far as those kind of films are concerned. It's when
Was it when you
Guillermo del
first saw
Toro-
Ryan Reynolds?
What's that?
When you first saw Ryan Reynolds?
That was Blade 3.
Was it? Wasn't he in 2 as well?
I don't remember.
Oh, okay.
That was Blade Trinity.
All right. Never mind. then.
Blade
Either
2
way.
was Guillermo.
Fuck,
That was the
ruined my
first
joke.
time I knew who, I recognized who Guillermo del Toro was as a director. And, that was the first time that it, really hit me. For a lot of people, I guess everyone has that video game film, but, well, these movies can be taken seriously and they can be done really well.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Well, but Blade 2 does have it has a through line. It has characters that matter. It has,
Well, it has a
very
story.
dramatic-
Yeah, it has a functional story.
Yeah.
It has very dramatic moments. It's got a very, very strong ending with her on the balcony and she just wants to see something beautiful and it works, man. And that was the first time I was like, that was excellent. That wasn't just a comic booky film.
So
that
you-
was excellent.
So you like Blade 2 better than Blade 1?
Yes,
All right.
I do.
That's bold.
But it's the same argument. Aliens versus Alien. I think Blade is the better movie.
Whoa, that's quite a stretch of movies.
Well, no, but Aliens is got more action, and I think there's more going on. But I think Blade as a movie is a functionally better. It's a tighter narrative, more aptly told.
Let it be
That
known,
makes
as much
sense.
as I love Blade, they are nowhere near the level of Alien or Aliens.
Oh, I didn't mean that. I just mean it's the same argument. It's
yeah,
like,
I
they're,
get
to
you.
me, they're different films.
It's like Terminator,
almost.
Terminator 2. One is
Yeah.
way better, and the other one is just a far superior movie. The other one is Terminator. You know what I mean? I get it, 100%.
We will disagree on this forever, Chris. I think Terminator is much better than Terminator 2.
Oh,
Yeah, then
there's
one
just no
day-
way.
You'll understand how awesome Terminator Salvation truly is.
Oh,
my
yeah.
God.
Hell yeah!
Aren't we due for a Terminator reboot?
I mean,
Stop this.
Dark
You're hurting
Fate 3.
me. You're hurting me. I don't
Yeah.
want to talk anymore.
You're
hurting my heart. Stop it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're going to reboot Terminator, you have
All
to-
right, let's go. Let's go down this road. How are we doing it?
If you're going to reboot Terminator, you need to remake the first film literally shot for shot. You cannot deviate from the dialogue. You cannot deviate in any fucking way. Same with the second film. You cannot deviate.
Then why wouldn't you just watch those two again and then make your third
Because
movie?
I don't think you'd be able to convince someone to make a Terminator 3 again after the awfulness that was Terminator Dark Fate. that's never happening
No.
again.
What
That
about,
was the last
what if
chance
they went
that
to
happened.
Terminator Zero route?
Oh,
Eh,
okay.
Which is very good, by
It
the
is
way.
good. I've seen it. It is not bad, but
Mm.
well, so the other one I always kind of go back and forth on is I like the remake actually more than the original Fright Night with Anton Yelchin
Okay,
and Colin Farrell. And I like the original because the whole time he's like, his mom's pretty much like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Mom, there's a vampire. I gotta kill this vampire next door. Leave me alone. There's this girl involved. I'm just gonna do it. Leave me. I'm good." But like, I think that those are interesting because they introduce, in a way, kind of they introduce the boy can't leave, he can't not rescue people, and he's got to kill the vampire. So like in itself, it's the limitations are written in to why he can't just leave, because if he leaves, the vampire will kill everyone and take over the town. So he can't, in a campy way, he just can't. In both the original and the remake, and I just, for some odd reason, I'm drawn to Colin Farrell's vampire. His spell worked on me, I guess.
Sometimes it works.
Sexy vampire.
I mean, that's what it is.
I like
Again.
Colin Farrell's Bullseye personally, but
Jesus.
it is what it is.
Fucking movie is
That was,
awful.
wait, you said that was the best part of that movie, though. You say Colin Farrell Bullseye
Colin Farrell's Bullseye, yeah.
as and Daredevil, right?
Yeah.
That was the best part of that movie,
Oh, all
Well, yeah,
right.
that movie fucking sucks.
bar none.
So
Yeah, it's not hard to be the best thing in a
who
bad movie.
cares, right? You know, the fucking best part's the end credits.
Yeah,
Get out of here.
As I was saying, Arnold.
I disagree with that movie. Sucks.
As I
but again,
as I saying, Arnold's the best thing in a bad Terminator movie. You know what I mean? He showed up at least.
Which Terminator?
Why do you
movie
guys hurt me
consider
so
bad?
much?
Terminator 3. He's in 3.
He's,
Yeah, he
also,
is.
He's the best part of
also in,
3.
like 6.
he's in Genesis also.
Yeah.
That's
In,
even
briefly, isn't
yeah.
he? Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. It's been a while. So
Yeah. Anyway,
let's move on to a list.
Well,
We
hold on.
love
I have
lists
one
here.
more vampire related thing. Well,
Oh,
no, you
yeah.
can go. No, go to list. I'll circle. We'll talk about it because it's
Okay.
still vampire-ish.
Yeah,
We'll talk about
yeah,
it
we
before
can circle
Nosferatu. Go ahead.
So the movie of the week is Nosferatu, and I want to talk about for a second. There's a list on Rotten Tomatoes, the best vampire movies. However, from 30 to 1, but we're going to start at 10 because 30 just takes too damn
30's a
long.
lot.
Just so you know, Blade's not on the list at all.
It's not.
It's
There's Blade 2 or anything.
Great.
Fucking
Blade
whack.
2 is not, right?
No.
That's crazy.
Bram Stoker's Dracula's number 10, 1992. That's the one
Sure.
by Francis Ford Coppola.
That's a
It's
good
one
Gary
Grayson
Oldman.
loves.
Mm.
Loves
Gary
that
Oldman,
movie.
Winona Ryder, Hopkins, Keanu Reeves. Very campy. Dracula's played like he's a dude who's just being a dude, and he's talking amongst like
Yeah.
things he's done, all the lives he's lived, all the lives he's ruined, and it's one of those movies that I know people love it. I understand why it's good. I personally just don't like it, but that's for me. What do you guys think of that one?
Yeah.
Fair.
I don't know. It's okay.
Number 9, Horror of Dracula, 1958.
Nope, no comment.
Have
Never
you seen that movie?
Peter Cushing and
I haven't
Christopher
seen that
Lee
movie.
once.
I haven't seen that movie.
Nope.
Dracula, 1931. This is a classic monster movie, though.
Mhm.
You seen that one?
I've seen this one. I don't remember it though. I was younger when I saw it. My grandfather.
That's
like
Bela
like
Lugosi,
that.
man. That's like the.
That's the one where he has like the
classic.
weird like bat face. Is that
Well, that's
that
the
one?
classic. I think he's got like the bow tie on and the tux, and he's like
Yeah.
kind of like the
Yeah.
not the tuck, but
Like
it
the
looks
dad
kinda
from
like
the grandpa
Popular for
from-
the times.
The
kinda
grandpa
deal.
for the Munsters.
Yeah, basically. You all right? You good?
coughing up a
Cough
lung.
it out, baby. I ain't
Number
editing
7,
shit.
Nosferatu, the Vampire, 1979.
Yep.
Yeah, get it.
Dying. Oh my goodness.
Perfect.
It's okay. We'll edit this out in post.
Okay.
I won't.
Thank you, Roger. Appreciate that.
I just want you to understand. This is what it is. This is awkward silence now.
I'm dying here. You don't care about me. At
I didn't
all.
say that. I said I just won't
Thanks,
edit it
Chris.
out.
Appreciate
Yeah. Courtesy call.
Let's talk about Vampire, 1932, number 6. This is getting into the point where, like, I'm guessing most people probably haven't
Nope.
seen these.
No, probably not.
Number 5, one that I'm sure people have seen, The Lost Boys. Very
Sure.
popular
Oh,
one.
that's a good one. I
So
like
that's
that
that's a very good
Yeah.
movie.
one. It's in my top 5 vampire movies.
Sure.
And Roger's favorite, Interview with the Vampire, 1994,
Also
number
good.
1. If you remember, Tom Cruise, Brad Pitt, Antonio Banderas.
He means number 4, not number 1.
That's the handsome man's move right there, baby.
Good movie.
What We Do in the Shadows, 2014. I don't agree with this.
Okay.
On
I don't
the
remember
record.
ever watching that.
That's like a
so-
murder fest, isn't it? Like
It's
I
a
don't know.
very campy.
Yeah. I think I saw that movie at one point. I don't know why or
Taika
when.
Waititi, like it's
Yeah.
if he's involved, it's got a weird sense of
Yeah. We all know what I feel about Taika Waititi. It's fine.
Let the Right One In from 2008.
That was a creepy film. If I
Ford
remember
film,
it.
I think. I have not seen this.
Is that Korean?
No, Let the Right One In. I thought that was also like redone in America as well, wasn't it? Or
No,
I
that was
could
Let
be
Me
wrong.
In.
Okay,
Let Him In or something.
Yeah, okay,
Or
yeah.
Let
I
Him
think you're
Go.
right.
Or I don't.
Yeah.
One of those. And number one, of course, the classic Nosferatu from 1922.
That's a silent movie. This one's like based. The one we just saw is based off of, right?
It is. I
Yeah.
think it is. There's been I've watched so many vampire movies lately. That was Max Schreck, directed by F.M. Murnau. Sorry, F.W. Murnau, which is I think it's you can find it in most libraries. Have it,
Yeah.
but it's considered one of the best vampire films.
So it's
of all
not in the
time.
top 10 we just read, right? Like other ones that we know that are good. So
Blade.
I mean, Blade's not in the top 10, which I think that's almost so like there's a lot of similar movies in that top 10 list that you just read off, right? Like a lot of older movies, black and whites and stuff. Like I feel like Blade would be its own category of like vampire film almost. That almost deserves a place.
Isn't Blade a comic book?
Sure.
Yeah,
I'm
but-
almost positive it's a comic book.
yeah, it is.
It's a Marvel property.
It's a Marvel product, yeah. But it's just a different kind of vampire movie that I feel like is iconic at this point. So like, why wouldn't that like be a part of a top 10 list? It would be on mine. And even with like my biases of like it's like more my generation, I just still think it's like it's different. It stands out. So like Blade would be on there for me.
I mean, here's the thing. I would argue that more people know the name Blade associated with vampire than the name Nosferatu.
Oh, 100%.
associated with vampire.
Like I'd explain what Nosferatu was to my wife, and like only reason why I know what Nosferatu was to begin with was because of the old Vampire the Masquerade role-playing game, because you could be different kinds of vampires. And then I went down a rabbit hole when I was like in my teens. So like there's that.
Tell me more about this vampire roleplay thing here. What's that about, buddy?
It's Dungeons and Dragons, but with vampires instead. There's also one called Werewolf made by a company called White Wolf. Bunch of different werewolves.
Seems
too.
a little pedantic.
Nah, listen, it's fun. Anyway, another vampire movie that isn't in the top 10 that I would think it would be John Carpenter's Vampires, right? I thought that was a really good film, right?
Yeah.
And it's not in the
So
top
I may
10.
have misread the list. It's 30 essential vampire movies.
Oh, essential. Okay, that changes
I was
things.
looking. I was like, wait a minute. These are much higher scored, and they're much way back on the list. What's going on in this? So okay, essential vampire films. Wow, this is off the
What
rails
makes
tonight.
any vampire
Ah,
movie
that's good.
essential, though?
So number 14 is From Dusk Till Dawn.
Okay.
Number 15, Underworld, which by the way has
Of
a
course.
31% of Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh,
Yeah.
listen, it's not great, but goddamn, it's good. You know, it's
Blade
weird.
number 16 has a 58%.
Yeah, it tracks.
Again, same thing. It's not great.
So, like,
but
look,
it's good.
if we were reviewing Blade today, we
Okay.
pull up the Rotten Tomatoes, it'd be like 58%, but the audience score would be like 88. You'd be
Oh,
like,
yeah.
people fucking love
Easy,
it,
right? Yeah.
It's just a bloodbath in a techno club. You're like, yeah, it's cool, man.
Dude, the soundtrack in that movie was good.
Stat.
too.
Oh, yeah,
Still
it's
fucking
fantastic,
rips.
yes.
Yeah, come on.
Fright Night 85 is number 17. Vampire Hunter D.
Vampire D. Sorry,
That's in your realm of the world.
it is.
Chris.
I was gonna make a
That's
D's
number
Nuts joke.
18.
Do it. You should.
I can't now.
I'm looking at other ones. Shadow of the Vampire 2000. That's number 25.
Where's Twilight? Twilight's got to be on there, right?
Twilight 2008 is
There it
number
is.
26.
There
Well,
it
so like,
is.
look, here's the thing. All jokes aside, like Twilight was a fucking big deal.
It was.
Like
It was
a
an event.
super big deal.
Soccer moms were never in a better place in their lives than they were during the Twilight sagas.
I don't know if that's accurate.
So I was working at Marquee at the time. New Moon came out.
I remember when the first one came out, we didn't know what it was.
No one knew what it was.
Really?
No one had any
So,
idea.
well, yeah. So, like, when the first one came out, like, obviously, there was only half the books or whatever at the time. So, when the first one came out, I'm like, what the fuck is this
Yeah.
thing or whatever? And then it was like, then it was busy.
I remember being excited to see it, and then someone told me that the vampires sparkled in it. And I refused to see it out of spite. And to this day, I've never seen a Twilight movie.
Really?
I've
How have you
I've
avoided it?
successfully avoided it my
Wow.
entire life. My family would go see them in the movies like as an event. Like my mom, my uncle, my aunt, and like a whole bunch of like my cousins and stuff. They would go see like when they came out. They saw them and like I was like, I can't do this. There's no way. I can't watch
It
Sparkle.
was the worst thing Robert Pattinson has ever been associated with.
Which, you know what? That's not a bad track record for that guy, right? Because he's doing
No,
fine.
hell no.
No, he's great.
Yeah.
He's fucking great. I don't know. What else you got on the list? Anything else surprising?
30 Days of Night 28. Number 29, Daybreakers on the Essential Vampire list. And Dracula from 1972 with William Marshall, Denise Nicholas.
What is Daybreakers? Why does that sound familiar?
Daybreakers. Oh, that's Ethan Hawke.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's the one where they're drive like the cars drive themselves through the daytime and like
that's the one. The trailer was.
he had to cure
Placebo
himself or
was the
whatever.
song for the trailer.
Yeah. Okay.
Interesting.
Oh, that was also a guy from Jurassic Park. What's his name? Sam Neill was in that
Steve
one, too.
Irwin. No, wrong.
Wrong.
I think you
Crocodile
were
Hunter.
wrong about that one, but
They
anyway.
filmed that movie in Australia. Just
So there's
saying.
some essential vampire. There's so many vampire movies.
Oh
Like,
yeah, there's
It-
good ones. There's bad
it's
ones.
mind-boggling how many. There's like hundreds of vampire films.
Well, like I mean, like if you made like a top 5 list to watch, like all 3 of our lists would look so different. I think.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I'm watching Blade. I'm watching Underworld. You know, like I'm like those 2
So
movies are on my roster.
I know I mentioned it before though. Like, where do you stop with Underworld though? Because like
After the first one,
after the first
the
one,
second one is janky.
Hold
at
on.
best.
okay, because like look, so Underworld like it starts here, goes up, and then it's fucking
It's
off a cliff.
off a
Like
cliff,
it's
yeah.
fucking wild.
Underworld 2 is bad.
Sure,
Like
Yeah.
it's
but
awful.
here's the thing: aren't there
But it's
5
fun.
Underworld movies? Am I right?
Only 3 that I've seen.
because the whole time she's fighting like leather spandex,
Yeah,
and of course
yeah.
that's impossible.
makes her harder to grab.
But
You know what I'm
it's
saying?
also like the
You spray that-
goes
you spray that
off
with-
the rails.
Greasy.
You spray that with a little bit of cooking oil, you're never grabbing her. You know what I
I
mean?
mean,
it's
her
the
hair is
perfect-
always wet. It's not fucking possible.
The
It'll
first one I
dry.
actually loved and I actually thought was a decent movie
I don't know if it's decent, but it's a good watch. You know what I mean?
It's
Like,
fun. It's
Yeah,
a fun
exactly. Yeah, yeah.
with what's his Bill Nye? Where's Craven?
Yeah.
in a very Bill Nye way.
Yep.
Oh
You
yeah,
know, it's
sure.
just- it's the way that happened to work out like that. But
Where's Craven? Looking for Spider-Man.
my list would be a lot different though. Depends on if I'm trying to get you ready for Nosferatu, because if so, there's going to be 5 movies and they're all prior to 1940.
So
That's the thing.
so this is what I started to bring up before you went through the essentialists. So vampires to me, and I think this is an interesting discussion. So vampires to me are the one like mythical creature thing that the rules are so convoluted for what
Yeah.
is a vampire and how to handle vampires or whatever. Like werewolf, everybody knows like standard rules: full moon, silver bullet, get bit, become werewolf, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like vampires, there are so many like twisted like
Yeah.
lore things.
Well, there's even some vampire movies that make fun of the whole like like we're not really afraid of garlic. You know that, right?
Well,
You know what
so
I mean?
that's what they
Yeah,
say.
yeah.
Like Blade does that when she
Oh,
goes,
that's
like,
right. Yeah,
What the
yeah.
fuck is this garlic? He's like, yeah. He's like, oh, it's like, oh, it doesn't work.
Yeah, yeah.
So
So actually, I'm going to run down the list real quick of the top rated from Empire. So Blade is number 10.
Okay.
From Dusk Till Dawn, number 9. What We Do in the Shadows, 2014, number 8. Number 7, Interview with the Vampire. Number 6 is Dracula from 1931. I'm surprised that's not higher than that. Let the Right One In, 2008. Number 4, Near Dark, 1987. Dracula, 1958. Nosferatu, 1922. And The Lost Boys,
okay,
1987.
Lost Boys
that
is
list makes a whole lot more
the
sense.
Lost
now.
Boys is talked about so highly
Yeah.
by so many people that.
well, it's a very pop culture movie too. So
What year did that come out? The 80s.
87.
87.
Yeah, like so like the Lost Boys. Like, you think about it, and it feels like an '80s movie.
Sure.
It's got that long guitar and some cutscenes and stuff that like leads into the next scene.
Yeah, it's
so.
got shirtless Kiefer Sutherland.
Kiefer.
Of course.
Yeah.
I remember one specific memory of my older sister had her friend over, and they were watching it, and I walked upstairs, and she shooed me out of the room and shut the door.
Oh yeah, of
Whoa.
course.
Whoa,
She's watching a vampire movie.
What went
dog.
on behind the doors, I don't know, but I'm saying I have that memory.
whoa.
So the Lost
Whoa.
Boys.
Did you just try to out your sister?
The Lost Boys
What?
kind of screwed me up a little bit growing up too. Do you remember the big bad vampire in that movie?
I don't. Off the top of my head.
It's an
It's been a
old-
long time.
Older actor even at the time. Had glasses. I can't remember his name, but anyway, it messed me up because one of my other favorite movies back at that same time when I saw that was Richie Rich, and it's Richie
Rich,
it's-
like with,
it's Richie Rich's dad.
Oh yeah, with like Macaulay
Screwed me
Culkin.
up.
that's from Gilmore Girls. Rich's dad's from Gilmore. The uncle or the grandpa from Gilmore.
Is it
Girls.
okay? Yeah. So, but like that, like as a kid, like I knew that guy was Richie Rich's dad, and all of a sudden he was a vampire. I was like, no,
Edward Herman. Not to be confused with Thurman Merman.
Thurman.
But yeah,
Merman.
so like, that messed me up as a kid. You know, I
Your
was like,
fucking name is Thurman Merman.
stop.
So let's talk about this for a second. Jason Patric, Corey Haim,
Yep.
Kiefer Sutherland, and Corey Feldman. Those
Yeah.
were the-
Sure.
Like, and they were all shirtless at a point. Like, come on, like that was pure '80s
Yep.
Hollywood schlock, man.
Big
Like,
hair,
it just-
electric guitar, bleached hair too.
It was a time and
Yeah.
place kind of thing. A movie wouldn't, if it came out today, it wouldn't work as well.
I've never forgotten the imagery of like the guy's Chinese food turning to maggots as he's eating it. It's like, I don't
What a
like that.
disappointment that would be.
Yeah, right. Yeah, disappointment is what I think of.
Like, goddamn, my Lomain just gone.
My low main.
just gone.
Well, I mean, but also vampires, because they're kind of a thing of legend anyway. Like, they're not like they can be interpreted in so many different ways.
Yeah.
and so many different films have them. It's like you have the sexy vampire who, like, when you're asleep, your window for some
Sexy,
reason people always
charming
have these
vampire?
big bay windows
Yeah.
that open and like their curtains are
Fluttering
blowing
in
and
the wind.
like a mist comes up and he just slithers in your room, and then you
You-
have the other vampires who just like straight up like Nosferatu
Rip your fucking throat out.
will kill you with in seconds hesitation. So
You know what always bothered me about the whole flowing like window open? Like, how many motherfuckers have a screen? Like where you live, like there's not bugs.
Yeah, bugs just get in your
Yeah.
house. It's cool.
Just come in like 1,000, wake up with a fucking 1,000 mosquitoes on you.
In 1880,
spiders
in
everywhere.
1843, I don't know if they actually did. You know what I mean?
lucky
It
that
would have
girl
been
had
way
a-
fucking worse.
lucky that girl had a sun facing bedroom in the morning. I mean,
Right? Yeah.
Otherwise, it wouldn't have played out like that. I'm just saying.
True.
She
Yeah.
did have a nice view of the city, by the way.
What if they're in a different bedroom? Holy crap! The whole movie doesn't happen.
Well, but that's the kind of
I know.
What if somebody
way
pulled
too-
the shades for
Oh
privacy?
God!
privacy shades. Then he'd have been fine. Like,
Yeah.
I have been LA'd. I have to, or else
There's a deleted 30-second scene where he walks over and pulls the blind down. She's like, no, and pulls it back up.
He just looks at her like, dang, all right. That's right. That was a good reference.
Well, I mean, let's start talking about.
Let's go ahead. Fucking fire.
Yeah, might as well after voyeurism.
Let's start talking
go.
about Nosferatu. This is one that I think is an important one because I think it is. If you're asking me, I think it's damn near masterpiece. But that's just me. I'm
All right.
only one tripod of this show, so
One tripod.
one leg of the tripod.
There you go.
There's better.
Well,
For a minute there, we had 9 legs.
I mean, yeah. Anyway, gentlemen, what's your first thought?
Well, hold on. I think at this point we can pass or fail it.
Oh, sure. I mean, this is a.
Oh, I know for you, Roger. Where are you at?
I fucking hate this movie.
Yeah,
God
I'm
damn.
definitely down. I'm definitely down
Really?
on this. Yeah.
Oh my goodness
worry.
gracious!
Yeah.
Brother, I brought receipts today. I got a bunch.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness gracious! Let's talk about it.
Yeah,
then.
let's talk about it.
Nosferatu. Rotten Tomatoes of 86.
Sure.
Popcorn meter 75. Pretty good.
Yeah. All right.
Metacritic, as we always do, 78, which isn't like extraordinarily
That's
high,
pretty
but
high,
it is
though.
high.
I mean, 78 is a good showing for a movie.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's good for any movie.
Yep.
It is.
Yeah, we're happy. We're okay with Metacritic's rocking like a 6.2. You know what I mean? So I think we're good there. Tell us what it's about.
Well,
Or tell us.
give
who's
me
in it.
your first impressions.
My first impression was this movie's whack. I said that to my wife as we walked out because I knew she hated it.
Fucking perfect.
This movie's whack.
No, so you want to know what this movie is? Paced fucking horribly. That's what this movie is.
Okay, in all seriousness, I believe that art is subjective, right? We can agree on that. That's like how art works.
No.
I believe it's
Art-
way less subjective than you're going to
Art
suggest.
is subjective. Let me get there. Let me cook. Help me in the kitchen.
Okay. Go ahead. buddy.
Art is subjective.
You got the stick, big cat. Take it home.
Art is subjective,
Stir that pot.
and I don't think this art is for me.
Okay.
I think that this movie isn't meant for me to dig it. This movie is somebody's art, and I'm sure this thing is high praise. I can see why this movie is well created. Acting's fantastic. Difficult acting too. This is not an easy thing
No.
to be in. All those things all come together. Great cinematography, great line reads, all of it. But the movie is a slog to get through if you're not interested in it, and nothing happens in this movie. And it's a slow watch, and if you're not okay with a slow burn that never burns brighter than, your living room fireplace, then you're not going to like this movie. And that's what this is. It comes together well, and there's great moments, and I get it, and again, there's elements of this that show that it is a great film, but it ain't for me, man. I did not enjoy my time. My wife didn't either. We were probably in the minority in that. There were a couple of Valley Goth girls that were very excited to talk about it in the bathroom when my wife was in there after the movie. So this has a crowd. I wasn't it.
Well, as I mentioned before, that one, the Dracula film, Bram Stoker's Dracula by, I forget who made that, but all of a sudden,
Francis Ford Coppola.
Coppola made it with
He rattled that off. He's a professional.
Keanu and
shit.
company and
I've
Gary
done this once or
Oldman.
twice.
That's a movie that it's not for me at all. Like,
Yeah,
it's
okay.
just not. But like, I understand it's a well-made
Yeah,
movie.
okay.
And that's like, and I don't mean to like throw shady like that,
No,
but
no.
like, so you're saying that you don't like it, but you understand it's a well-made film.
I understand that this movie is well made.
Okay, that's what I was
Yeah.
wondering.
Yeah.
Because there's a different argument if you're like, no, I don't,
Yeah.
I don't like it, and I also don't think it's well made.
Oh
So-
no.
So this movie to me feels like it's a movie that somebody wanted to make to get critical acclaim. Like
okay.
that they would check every box you would need to be like great movie,
Okay.
great movie.
Yeah,
Fucking, there's no way anybody could say it was bad. And then like I'm part of the audience is like, what the fuck, you know, like that's the thing I have with this movie is like, look, looks great,
Yeah,
acted well, like it checks most of the boxes for what I would consider a good movie. But much like you, like this movie's not for me.
Mhm.
It's too slow, and like obviously you have an idea what's happening the whole time, and everything happens exactly like you think is going to happen. Like
Also true.
there is not an element of change or surprise or there is no action really in this
Yeah.
movie. There is no real mystery,
The movie even goes as far as to tell you what's going to happen
like verbatim.
verbatim, and then it happens exactly as they tell you it's going to happen.
Because the one thing that I do want to bring up, right? Like if this movie didn't have, Willem Dafoe in it,
Okay.
like I think this movie is 10 times worse. Because listen, he's fucking crazy.
He almost feels
and-
out of place.
Well,
at
I mean,
times.
he feels very much like somebody who would freak out about this
If-
stuff.
If someone
You
you
know?
it's the guy who
No,
looks like Willem Dafoe.
Yeah, and he would just be like, "Oh yeah, you should know what's happening." Like,
yeah.
but like he's made for this kind of stuff. But like, I think
True.
without him, like this movie suffers so bad.
Yeah, because
Like-
who else plays that character? Because isn't Willem Dafoe tied to like the original Nosferatu movie in some way, or one of
No,
the
but
older
he's
Nosferatu
he's
movies?
tied
He's
to
one
Eggers.
of Eggers.
He's one of his dudes.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
He's been in.
Well,
couple
yeah,
of-
but I also think he's tied to some version of a Nosferatu film from like way back, like in
Are
the
you thinking
70s.
of Poor Things?
No, I'm not thinking of Poor
Well,
Things.
hold on, I want to ask you guys a question.
Okay.
So Poor Things, none of us at this table
Liked.
None of us. For the life of me, but that goes in my theory of, I think some movies. My theory about that one is like they said we want this many Oscar nominations before we make the movie. I've always had this theory that kind of those backdoor business deals happen in Hollywood. Otherwise, movies like Poor Things, they don't get made because no one's going to be like, oh, yes, I see your vision. Take my $50 million and make that. That's so far out of like, you can't, no, it just doesn't work like that. So that movie, again, it did very well. It won like, what, 5 Oscars?
A lot.
Won a lot.
7
Won a lot
last
of
year.
shit.
It did very well for itself, and it deservedly so. but
Emma
it's just a
Stone.
movie that
Emma
we
Stone won
did
2 or
not
3
like.
herself.
Yeah.
So going into that conversation, like I can understand how that happens.
Yeah. I agree with that.
But like this is not the same for me. Is like I think this is a much better movie than Poor Things. If I was gonna,
I mean, okay, if you had to say, hey, you have to watch one of these 2 movies every day for the next year, which one are you picking? I mean,
Nosferatu.
there's reasons
Without a doubt.
to pick Poor Things, but it's gonna be
But those
Nosferatu.
reasons have nothing to do with the quality.
It's
of the
gonna
film.
be Nosferatu. You know what
Yeah,
I
of
mean?
course.
So, yeah.
But anyway, I just wanted to preface that because a lot of people, again, if you took away the internet from Christmas Day, which was released to now, you'd have a lot of very confused people about Poor Things and about Nosferatu, and I just think
like all the chatters that Nosferatu is like, in contender for like top movie of the year. It's just like it doesn't connect with me that way. You know what I
No.
mean? So like, for all of its praises and and all the ways you can kind of like talk down about the movie, like the general consensus is that this is a top contender.
Well,
Just wasn't for me.
let me ask you a question here. So, like this movie, it doesn't have a huge budget. It's like 50 million. So it's going to have moderate success for that amount.
Yeah.
But like when you redo a movie like Nosferatu and make the big gothic horror movie, like who is that for? Like, because it's not for most of the modern audience. Like this does not check a box for people like, well, what do you want to go watch on Christmas?
Well, this
You understand what I mean, right?
I think this movie is for the same people that Poor Things is for. It's for people that are seeing film as an art medium and not an entertainment medium. I think that's who it's mainly for. Because I don't think and the Golf Valley Girls for my showing. But I think that the people that are going to see this film and give it high praise are all people that see a lot of freaking movies that really do like judge movies on their quality of make and all that stuff and all those ideals. I think that's who this movie's for audience wise.
Okay.
I don't think this was made for the everyman. You know what I mean?
Well, no, it's
definitely
not.
It's absolutely
Yeah.
not made for the everyman. But let's go back 2 seconds. So, have you seen The Witch?
No.
I think that's the only movies of his that I haven't
But
seen.
it's very colloquial,
Yeah.
early Jamestown settlement.
Yeah, this guy hasn't made a movie in present day yet, right? I don't think.
Has made what?
A movie that's based in present day. It's all been it's all period pieces.
The Lighthouse, the Northman definitely is not, but they're
That's
all very
the
similar.
Northman's perfect.
They all have very similar
So many ads in that
themes
movie.
and very similar aesthetics, and yeah, of course, he's got a very similar through line in all of his films. Kind of, it just is. But if you're a fan of Eggers, and I realized earlier I said Dave Eggers is an author. Robert Eggers is the author here.
We knew what you meant.
You know what you're getting into. I
Yeah.
don't think anyone's going to walk into. Excuse me, I have a hiccup. I don't think anyone's going to walk into Nosferatu without having a clue of what they're getting into. Am I wrong?
No, I mean,
about
here's the
that?
thing.
My
So-
wife didn't, but she had to go.
If you watch any trailer for this movie, though, like you see exactly what's coming in the trailer.
Mhm.
And here's the thing, I don't know how you disguise a movie about a vampire and present it the way that you do and not know what's happening. So I don't know. Just the issues that I have with this movie is just like the story is, it's not very original either. So
It's not original because it's not an original piece.
well, no,
right?
though,
But I
yeah.
don't-
So I
but
mean,
is
that's
originality something we're faulting it for?
well, no. I mean, listen, I have a bunch of reasons to fault it for stuff like creative decisions on like banging corpses. Like, here's the thing.
Who's the
like
corpse, though?
I don't mean that as a joke. Like, out of all the things you could do with whatever you want in your movie, why? Why
Well,
is that part of this film?
The same reason why it was considered art and poor things. You know what I mean?
Well, very fair.
Okay.
Is-
That doesn't answer the question.
Well, okay.
It just branches in a different direction.
Did you have an answer? Because
Well, no, but I
kinda
mean-
interrupted you.
I will say, and this might sound weird, but it seems, Roger, I think that to me it seems like it's all part of the world that they set up. It's all part of like what that person would do in that scenario in the universe we were presented that it was created by Eggers. I know that's a weird thing. I don't think. I mean, obviously not 1843 Germany
Mhm.
because vampires aren't real. But I mean, they have.
Hmm.
I mean, I want to go back like Vlad the Impaler is like a lot of people think.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
the original,
yeah.
like he fought with the Turks and it's a big
Sure.
deal. But a lot of the legend comes from that, and like there's a million different ways that lore of vampire lore where they originated
Mhm.
from.
I don't mean this as a joke. To use your phrasing, when you say bang a corpse,
Mhm.
are you specifically talking about like the ending sequence?
Yeah,
Okay. I just want to make sure I wasn't
yeah.
missing something else in like the middle. of the
No,
movie.
so like
When you say bang a corpse, you mean
no, like when
Yeah,
he
yeah,
goes into the crypt, opens up his wife's coffin,
yeah.
and then proceeds to have sex with it. Yes, that is exactly what I'm
we have
talking about.
skipped a few steps.
But no, okay. But so here's the.
Let's start
good,
with the
good
cast.
discussion knows no bounds.
Like banging corpses, no bound.
Quote it,
Let's start.
quote
Hold on. So let's start with the cast. Bill Skarsgård from Pennywise fame, obviously very good at these villainesque caricatures of
Transformative, you might
these
say.
demonic
Yeah.
things. Look. If you're Bill Skarsgård, those paychecks cash like everything else. Keep doing them, buddy. You're very good at them. Nicholas Hoult, Lily Rose Depp, Aaron Taylor Johnson, Willem Dafoe, Ralph Ineson.
That's
a
pretty much
star-studded
it,
cast.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. Written and directed by Robert Eggers, which I think is a huge achievement. So let's talk about Nicholas Hoult and Aaron Taylor Johnson. Nicholas Hoult, this is like his third kind of undead-esque
Movie this year?
movie. What's that?
Well, it's also like his third movie this year, isn't it? He's been at his third movie this year.
A vampire movie?
No,
Or in
just,
general.
just movies in general.
Oh yeah, I mean I think, but I'm not worried
Yeah.
about that. But
Well, he's had a good
done-
year. Good for him.
I think he's done a couple of these with the undead. I know he's in Warm Bodies and may have been another one that was.
He's in the
undead
Renfield
stuff.
movie too, right?
What's that?
He
The-
is in Renfield.
The Renfield
right.
one with Nick
Oh,
Cage.
well, yeah,
that was
yeah,
fairly
yeah, yeah.
recently.
With him
Yeah.
and,
Is it
Nicolas
Cage.
Cage.
Is Warm Bodies a show.
It's a zombie movie.
The zombie movie where like one of them has like
okay,
he comes back.
Yeah,
emotions.
that's right. That's right. I remember that movie. now.
Teresa
That movie
Palmer's the
movie was
girl in that
weird.
one.
Yeah, it's
That
weird.
movie was odd.
So let's talk about Nicholas Hoult and Aaron Taylor Johnson, for example.
Yeah.
Is in this world they've created two men that are very different, but like also to me were they could have been combined for the same character.
I don't know. I think they need to be separate for what they're pulling off.
Well,
though.
I think I agree with you, but like
Yeah.
I don't think they were different enough
Okay.
in the overall. That's just one of my big things is like I think the writing could have been tooled to adjust that character a little bit.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
If you worked in real estate,
No.
and you're like your boss was like, I need you to go thousands of miles away and have one random dude sign some paperwork, and when you get almost there and you see the locals digging up corpses and just stabbing them, wouldn't you just go the fuck home?
Well,
I mean, you put it that way. I mean, maybe. But at the same time, he woke up and he thought he wasn't sure if it was a fever dream or not. You know what I mean? So
that's the whole thing. What this movie does well is it plays the dream card of like what's a dream versus what's not a dream. And I like that aspect of it. What I didn't like was I didn't like so much of the Evil Dead stuff. Is like I wanted more of the subliminal of the dream stuff, of the dream state, rather than like blood coming out of someone's eyes and shrieking beyond. It just to me that's film is always subliminal.
But you said it's a masterpiece.
What's that?
But you said
it's close to
close
to a masterpiece.
Okay,
But when you consider the aesthetic, the set design, the wonderful gray look to everything.
I'm telling you, man, it checks every critical box that it's supposed to check for
It does.
people to like it. Or
Right.
people are. This is what I feel like this movie is, and will be later on. This will be the movie that is like a defining movie for people who are like, well, what do you think of Nosferatu? And I'm about to be like,
you forgot to put your pinky up when you said
I
that.
fucking think it sucked. And they'll be like, well, you clearly don't know cinema.
Yeah, it was.
Like, this is what that movie will be for people.
That conversation absolutely will happen with people.
Like it absolutely will be. Like, I think like this is a movie that. Do you guys remember multiple Oscar winner from many years ago?
More Things? Yeah.
No. Nomadland.
Oh
Okay?
yeah.
A movie that had horrible pacing issues.
Yeah.
And hit every cinematography. Had all the cinematography in the world. Had a great lead actress in Frances McDormand, and I fucking hated that movie too because it's slow and doesn't really ever have a payoff.
Isn't this the same split too? I think you really like Nomadland, and we
we
did not like
Nomadland. I watched it twice.
Like
right in a row.
that's the thing. It's like I see why people like that movie.
Yeah,
I don't like that movie, and when you say things are subjective, and sometimes it is, and sometimes it isn't. Anytime a movie for me that is paced really poorly, like that will always affect my overall thought of the movie. Because like if it never speeds up and never gets to the climax of the movie in some like in a way that feels good or at least complete, I'll never like that movie from start to finish.
Yeah, again, I want to preface this with I can see why this movie is considered great by like a movie making like standard, like just like on a raw level,
because it follows a paint by numbers.
But that being said, I don't think that always means it's an entertaining movie. You know what I mean? And
sure.
I think that your appreciation for the film is going to come with the level of like how bought into the art side of filmmaking process you are. I mean, you could be both camps, right? You can. Yeah, and the movie can be entertaining for a certain group or a certain crowd, no matter what, whether it's artsy, quote unquote, or not. But like this movie itself, I do think has issues in the fact that, again, you mentioned it, it's predictable to the point where the movie tells you that things are going to happen, and then they just do. And it's also like, where does a movie like this fit? Like, this isn't a horror film by any means. It's not scary.
I didn't think so either.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Yeah, so like this isn't.
I don't know how I'd classify
this.
This
isn't a. It's like a fantasy film,
like a dark fantasy or like supernatural horror.
Yeah, okay.
I wouldn't call it just horror by itself.
Yeah, because it's not. Because the movie's not scary. The movie has like one jump scare moment, if that. I don't even think it's meant to be. It's just it's meant to be a shock.
Gets loud
thing.
for a second.
Well, yeah. So it's like so like the fact that it doesn't have like an easily definable and easily identifiable identity, like where it lands in different places with certain people. And the way the whole thing plays out, it's very, not only is it by the numbers and what it has in it, it's by the numbers in its execution, and that feels lazy or sloppy in a way. But like, how else could you have done this movie in that sense though either? Now that I've seen it, I can't think of how you would pace this thing better than what it is. I just think that with the way that it was written, directed, and made, it's just the movie just kind of slowly goes through its motions until it gets to the ultimate climax, which is what we get, which is banging corpses part 2.
Well, that's so
We'll
I
say
think we're a little
nothing.
ahead of
Nothing
ourselves.
happens, and then 15 minutes, everything happens.
Well,
Yeah,
I will agree
that
that
happens
Roger's right
sometimes.
about that. The end didn't feel complete to me, but only because, and I had this conversation with someone, is I'm used to the American, like, one of those two men was going to step up and like the heroic moment was going to happen. The face down with Nosferatu, holding a torch in one hand, a sword and a gun in the other, and get back, devil, that kind of thing. It just, that didn't happen. What we got was like the slow, methodical, like
Yeah.
almost, because you remember what's Zack Snyder made it.
Rebel Moon?
Watchmen were like the big
Oh, sorry.
the big piece of that film was
He
they
did
all
make
meet in
Rebel Moon, though.
Ozymandias' lair. Rorschach explodes. Movie's over. It's
Yeah.
like, there's not really a.
How
not really like.
Well, shit.
How perfect would it have been if like that showdown Nosferatu happens and it's Willem Dafoe's character first. He's like I'll handle this, and he just gets like cut down and he gets like
He
chopped
just
in half.
punches his head off.
But like
That's all for his character.
But like I get if they're going for like the dream state of it, which what they
Which
lean
is
heavily into.
What's a lot of that movie.
Yeah.
A lot of this movie is in that.
Well,
realm.
let me, just for the purpose of discussion, the IMDb description is a gothic tale of obsession between a haunted young woman and a terrifying vampire infatuated with her, causing untold horror in its wake.
I mean, that's accurate.
But I think the movie achieves every single word of that.
Well, yeah,
To a T.
I agree with that. That's like saying that in X or Y or Z Marvel movie, it's like superheroes show up and beat up
Okay.
super villains.
Point taken. But it's like, again, we're going off of a text. Dracula's been written. I mean, very famously been written. It's been put into many different many different forms of entertainment for us to kind of digest in a way. But it's, Nosferatu is like that too. It's just, I mean, there's going to be some, what do you call it? Liberties taken,
Sure.
creative liberties taken.
Yeah,
I
of
should
course.
say.
No, that's okay.
But like,
I don't mind that. I don't mind that.
There's a vision here that
and I want to bring up. Do you remember the King Arthur Legend of the Sword, the Guy Ritchie King Arthur film?
Yeah.
Roger, you remember that?
Mhm.
Chris, do you
I've
remember?
never seen
You
it.
ever
Not
watched that
good.
one? That was exactly how you thought a Guy Ritchie King Arthur movie was going to be.
Yeah,
I mean,
bad.
Like nothing of what it should have been.
Did they have guns?
I mean, basically.
I think
Okay.
maybe they did have guns. Yeah, but it's not what you'd think King
Gotcha.
Arthur movie should have been. But like the thing is,
Yeah.
this is exactly what a Robert Eggers Nosferatu movie
All right.
looks like to
So
me.
you know what though, you say that, like, I'm surprised they didn't make this movie in black and white too.
Yeah, but
Because like, look, they did for The Lighthouse, which is his last.
But-
that was
but some things that they did, the color actually does better than the black and white would have.
Sure.
I agree.
You know what I mean?
But here's the thing: 3/4 of this movie's fucking basically in the dark anyway.
Yeah, true. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. So, okay, like, I don't know. I've already bashed this movie a good bit. Like, I do want to talk about some of the things that I do feel like deserve very high praise.
Okay.
I think that in any vampire movie I've ever seen, no matter what you can call out, I've never seen someone pull off a dreadful character like they did with this guy. Right when Nicholas Holt, that's his name, right?
Yeah.
Shows up to the Count's castle.
Yeah.
And meets him. They pulled
My
off
lord.
that dark feeling of just
Of dread, of
Just
absolute dread,
just a dread and evil and horror.
foreboding, all of it.
Yeah, it's like it's all there, and they did it in such a good way where like you see nothing of him at first, so you only have
His fucking hands.
so you only have Nicholas Holt to work off of, which means like you don't have like. Which I think that was a good decision. And then like every scene that he's in, we see a little more of him. A little more of him is in focus. A little more of him is in view. There's a little more light on him. And like they do this thing where they slowly bring him into life instead of that weird like monster movie thing that happens where like you don't see the monster, and then in the last act you see the monster. It's like, oh, you know what I mean? And it's like, oh well, now I'm not as scared of it. They do this thing where they build up that dread and like he feels foreboding when he's on screen.
Sure.
Masterfully done. Love it. I think that was great. I more so much praise for that. And I also sidebar, Nicholas Hoult and how he was able to kind of like be fucking scared on screen. That was cool. I thought he did really good with that. I think the acting in this is superb. You know, I think, like I said at the beginning, I think it's hard acting because this is like everything rides on the acting. You don't have any special effects to live off of. You can't hide behind any CGI. This thing is like you get what the actors give out of this, and they did a good job.
Well,
so I do want to sing that praise.
I do want to extend what you're saying about him arriving at the Count's castle. Something that goes like understated.
Okay.
A lot of the time is like it's. So when he first arrives at what is it, a gypsy village?
Yeah.
And they're all like, whoa, if you're going there, go home, buddy.
Yeah. Don't do it
before you go to sleep.
Yeah.
So, and then he wakes up and everyone's gone because he's already in the nightmare. He's already enveloped in the Orlok kind of spell, the web that he cast to like. That's one thing I've always liked. You guys, you guys have both seen.
Oh, I love it.
Both it. It's like, do you remember that one scene where Henry Bowers in the remake is cutting into the little pudgy kid, like literally with a knife in his skin, and the old people drive by in the car, and there's just a red balloon in the backseat, and they both Bowers and the little kid being cut into see it, and that's just meant to tell you, like it's just there to tell you that Pennywise has got the town.
Yeah,
it's all under his spell.
Yep,
like understated, beautiful. One of the things I love most about the It remake. That kind of understated works here too. Is like that kind of setup is like he wakes up, he's already in the nightmare, and then he gets to the Count's castle, and like he's going up that like winding staircase, and like the Count's already ahead of him, and there's so much to play with here, and it's what I think is great here is like it's almost like it's a movie from like 1932 of how they use the frame, how they have like people walk over here and the camera follows them, and then they like it turns and that person talks, and it's like I love the old feel of it, but like it's not just there to make it old, it's there to like reference the classic.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like that.
That's the thing. It's like I think that works in a movie's favor, so that has to go in the pro column.
Oh yeah, it does.
I imagine.
And something else with like cinematography.
Only if you like that kind of thing.
True. Yeah, true. Yeah. Well, the other thing about cinematography that was really good, not only was like the weird saturated like nighttime shots, those were cool looking, I think, like the castle shot and all that, but that's beside the point. Like they did this thing too where sometimes like it's like in the castle, again, is a good example of this, is like Nicholas Hoult is in frame and so is the Count, but he's like off to the side sitting and just like not the main focus of the frame, but he's there, and it's like it's just too dark to see it, like just too dark to like really make him out. But it's like that's a cool shot because like they a lot of times in any other horror film or like in a crappy horror film, the camera's on that dark figure in the shadow and nothing else, and it's like, look how spooky it is.
Because you're supposed to be looking at Holt's performance because like something's there, and that's the scary part.
Well, the entire ambiance of that shot is important. It's both the way Holt's performance is going, and the fact that I think the shot symbolizes that Hoult is literally talking to darkness itself.
Yeah, just speaking into the void.
Yeah, like he's talking to something of pure evil, something of pure darkness, and it's like so much so that even in the same light, the same distance from the fireplace, and you can't see the Count, but you can see Hoult clearly. I think that kind of shot is very cool and well thought out. And again, this movie is full
of those shots.
It is. It
really is.
It really is. I agree with that.
To be fair.
Yep. Yeah. And I think it's well done in that regard. And same thing with Rose Depp, right? Mm-hmm. She has a lot of hard acting to do in this. The whole convulsion thing can't be easy to do out, and like they're all longer.
That's what I mean about the Evil Dead stuff.
Yeah,
I wish we got less of that.
So the thing is that I never understood is like they never really give a
reason why.
Yeah, why this is happening. Besides, she's possessed by some sort of whatever. But like, so that would just make her randomly stand up or go into a trance and be like still able to communicate, but only when it's necessary.
Yeah,
pertinent to the story.
Yeah,
like that's the part that I don't understand.
It kind of loses a little bit there.
Well, it's like, are we going one direction or are we going another? Like, she doesn't have to just be like, oh, well, she's possessed. Well, is she possessed or is she having a fucking seizure or like what are we doing here?
Yeah,
I also learned though that she can just summon a demon because she's lonely. Like when she's like 15, right? Which is exactly what happens here.
Yeah. Well, like she's like they call her an enchantress in multiple points, and it's like like obviously she's getting into the supernatural, and she reached out to something in the ether, and the ether talked back, and it wasn't what she wanted. You know what I mean?
Maybe it
like,
was.
I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't know if you choose that if you had the choice, but like, so like, I get why it's happening to her from their explanation, but like, they even say mention she says I also had the seizes, as in seizures.
Yeah.
So it's like, what are these and why do they happen? I know we're in 1843 or whatever, so there's no there's a lot of medical
No medical
explanations.
diagnosis.
Yeah, it's stuff like that, but I don't know. It loses me in some of those points, but it doesn't make it any less hard of scenes for her to act through, because they're long shots too sometimes.
Sure.
So you have to go through a lot of different states of mental awareness in the same shot. I mean,
the part where she's half having a seizure, half possessed, throws over the bookshelf, and then they end up going at it on the couch. What a weird sequence of things that happen, which I'm sure is a tough scene to film, because the whole camera just follows this all happening. But it's I don't understand what's going on here.
Yeah.
What's happening?
Is it almost like obligatory obligatory sex scene feeling because
I think that's the vampire thing.
Because it's a vampire movie? That's kind of like the feeling I got from it. But at the same time, I'm sure it represents something that goes over my head. Maybe. So I mean, it all depends on, again, what level of artistic connection you have with this kind of.
See, that's the difference between a movie like this and something like Sleepy Hollow, which I think still you guys are both in.
Yeah.
Which
sure,
it's the thing is it's got, but Sleepy Hollow still has the artsy fartsy stuff. It still has the very aesthetic style. It still has the committed gothic, but it tells a more cohesive story start to finish.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. A more dare I say American 3-act structure film story. You know what I mean? This one doesn't do that. I'm always gonna wish they're more like Sleepy Hollow. But
all right.
Because we got this, I don't think it makes it any less of a film. That's the thing. It just took a different approach. And Eggers is not Sleepy Hollow guy. He's more of the ethereal vampire Nosferatu guy. But it's
obviously
that's the version we got in '98 was Sleepy Hollow with the Headless Horseman. It's that's we've seen that, but we haven't seen. This is pretty unique to him, I think. Eggers. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but
I don't know. I mean, there's been other Nosferatu films made.
Oh, sure. And a lot of silent films they do with the dream state sequence. They go with it. It's just this one goes a little further into it.
Okay, I hear you.
It's and what you're saying about his design is I personally like the Nosferatu look, the long white face, the long fang teeth. I like that look, and I wanted it because I'm a fan of Nosferatu. I wanted it to look more like that. But as someone who resembles a human, there's real evil there, because it's not you're not looking at a monster, you're looking at a human that's been kind of deformed,
corrupted.
Yeah. That's where the evil comes in. It's that's where the menacing comes in.
But then at the end, though, when you see him in full light, you're like, what the fuck?
Well, so I thought about that too, and I think he looks very disheveled and more corpse-like because of what just happened. He
okay. See, I wondered that
the sun
too.
Drained him of all the the power that was in him. You know what I mean?
Shriveled.
Yeah. So I feel that has a lot to play with that, because he's very imposing before that moment.
He at least seemed to be.
He's literally just picking kids up by their throats and ripping them out and throwing them like they're candy.
Sure. So it's standing there.
I feel he was probably a little more imposing before that moment. But then he got caught with his pants down, literally, and then got air fried, literally, and then died.
That's what you guys think is and that's what I see is it feels incomplete to me. I don't think it is incomplete; it just feels incomplete.
Okay,
because we don't get the big overture moment that we're used to getting.
Yeah, well, there is no hero moment.
It's a weird closeout to this whole thing.
Well, there isn't. I mean, she's the
hero. Yeah. She goes
through a massive sacrifice.
Yeah,
hold up.
Yeah.
Just because you make a sacrifice does not make you a hero. But
she's the focal point of the story, though.
Well, yeah, because it's her story.
Also, doesn't make her the hero.
Yeah,
I know what he means by that. But at the same time, isn't she though? Because her what
I would say yes.
What she endures ends the plague and gets rid of the evil,
well,
right?
Hold on. So sure, and I'll give. Just remember, she started it.
Fuck, he's right.
Well, she also finished it. I mean,
Yeah. I
she
mean,
closed that circle.
Oh, that's cool, man. I open a box, something crawls out of the box, kills 1 million people, and then I close the box again
yeah.
Well, let's talk about
That's
Willem
fair.
Dafoe because he's an obvious.
because he's
elephant.
fucking awesome.
Willem Dafoe will always be
I
great.
think the performance of the film went to Willem Dafoe.
I mean, well, because like, when does it? Like, when was the last time he got out acted? Never.
Yeah,
Well,
but
I mean,
okay.
I can see the argument for
Isn't Will? Isn't Will?
Skarsgård. but
Isn't I can see the point for Nicholas Holt. Actually, I think he probably has the
I
best.
don't
acting.
see for Nicholas Holt. I don't. I mean,
He's got the best acting. In
they
this
could have
movie.
been anybody as far as I'm concerned.
He
It
has
didn't
the
have to
best
be-
acting done in this movie.
Who?
Holt. Holt has the best acting job in this movie.
When?
I disagree.
The entire time he's in Count's castle, the flip he has to make when he comes back, and just everything he's in, I think he does. He has the best. He doesn't have the biggest moments, but I think his acting is the best on point, in my opinion. More than what
Aaron Taylor Johnson.
well, more than Johnson, and which he doesn't do bad either, honestly. But like
He doesn't do much.
his character
at all,
isn't dimensional enough to like really get a whole bunch of praise in that. But like, I think Holt outdoes Defoe. Defoe is kind of campy in this movie almost. Like there's a dial you could turn with Defoe in this, and if you turn it just a little more than it's at, he's almost the comedic relief in this
He's
movie.
a caricature of him.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
Like,
totally understand that.
Yeah, so like I don't
Or
know.
he's so like, but the demon is cometh tonight.
Yeah,
Like, I see-
yeah. I mean, like, I get his character is eccentric, which is fine.
Yeah,
You
sure,
know what I
well,
mean?
yeah, sure.
Which eccentric people exist in,
Well,
in all forms of
Willem
history.
Dafoe's the eccentric guy.
Well, he is, but like I don't know. I don't think Willem Dafoe being Willem Dafoe means Willem Dafoe did the best in the film acting wise. You know what I mean? I don't buy that.
I mean, I would say he's definitely one of the most memorable people. In
Memorable
this
is different though, right? Memorable is one thing, but his character was kind of funny. He said the funniest shit in this movie. You know what I mean? I chuckled twice because his character's so outrageous and the shit he says. It's like I don't know. It just lands. But I don't know if he's like the most believably 1843 Germany crazed fucking
crackpot guy,
professor that's turned to a cult expert dude fighting Nosferatu. I don't know.
What is with Germany and the occult, man?
I mean, listen,
What's up with
it's just different versions at different times.
that?
But I don't know. Like, I don't have a problem with Willem Dafoe in this movie. I love Willem Dafoe. I'll always be on the side of Willem Dafoe. But like, I don't think he outacts. He outacts Nicholas Holt in this. I think Nicholas Holt does a great job, and I think Willem Dafoe got to do his Willem Dafoe thing, which should be expected at this point. While even though it's expected, I appreciate it still. But like, I don't know, he showed up and did his thing, and he did great at it. But I don't know if it's the best thing in the movie.
I just don't know if I don't know if I can agree with you that Holt outacted Dafoe.
Man, I don't know.
On the
agree.
base sense of like, I don't think that happened in general, but like
Yeah.
even the roles written the way they're written, I don't think that was meant to be.
Maybe that's fair.
I wish there would have been a bigger dichotomy between the Aaron Taylor Johnson character. So the bigger dichotomy between Friedrich Harding and Thomas Hutter
The shipmaster.
about
Yeah.
about the coward who literally goes off and dies and the courageous man who goes off and fights. Is like, I wish there was more of a dichotomy there. There wasn't really, but I don't think it was also meant to be, which
I don't
again
think
is
so.
like my problem with like, I want that to be the big action swell and the fight.
Yeah,
and the-
yeah.
and it never
It's just-
comes.
No,
It's
yeah.
not there.
Well, like, I don't think.
Well, it's also not that kind of movie though. That's the
Yeah,
thing,
Yeah.
it's just not.
because I think
But doesn't it feel like it could have been?
it could have been, but I think if we get that
there
scene,
was a point where it could have been.
I
and then
think if we get that scene, I think because of what Nosferatu is in this, I think he just cuts through 3 dudes
Good.
and then gets what he wants
that's the
anyway.
thing, his power level is so great that you really have a hard time.
The only thing that beat him is Shadow with the Emerald. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Well, that's the thing. It's like I also felt like if you felt it was incomplete, I kept referencing in my head it wasn't the airplanes. It was Beauty killed the Beast
Oh
from
God,
King
yeah,
Kong. It's like,
yeah,
I kept referencing that in my head, like,
yeah.
and maybe one copied the other. I don't know which copied which, but the point is, it's like it just felt. That's like the one thing I agree with you. What you said is like it feels incomplete. I don't think it was incomplete. It just feels incomplete.
Yeah, well, again, it's because it doesn't follow the usual formula. Because again, it's not that kind of movie.
No, it's definitely not.
Yeah, it does its thing where instead of it being like this traditional 3 act structure, where like it builds
It's 2.5
it
acts.
comes up, it comes down, then it blasts off, and then it's done. That's not what we get. We get this weird thing that kind of like gets to a certain point and then just stays there for a long time.
Yeah, plateaus for a really long time.
And like it's like, and then we get all this stuff, and then the last 15 minutes, it all comes to a head. It doesn't come to a head in the way that you as a moviegoer expects it to from what you're used to. It goes in the way the movie tells you it's going to go, in this very hopeless, very linear, very thought out thing that's basically predetermined and predestined to be, right? Because it's the legend fulfilling itself.
So let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
When they pop open the coffin and it's not him and the other guy's like, wow, and he fucking just stabs him anyway, I'm just like, whoa.
Well, like,
what's going on?
And then Willem Dafoe's like, burn it all.
Yeah, he's just like, burn
Yeah.
him.
And Willem Dafoe's having fun doing Willem
He's
Dafoe
just throwing
stuff.
torches around.
Yeah.
Fuck him.
He's not here, but
Shouldn't have been standing
he's
there.
not here, but burn it down anyway.
That's it. Fucking burn
Willem
it
Dafoe
down.
just wanted to burn some shit down, is what it comes down to.
Light the pyro, baby.
Because he knew nothing was going to come of it. Because he knows that she's calling the beast to her.
Yeah.
So like he knows. He's like, don't worry, guys. I got the gas and the torches. Wink, wink. And then like he's like, I'm gonna burn
You know, I
this
thought
bitch
we-
down.
He's
So
like,
you
we're
see-
committing some fucking arson tonight, baby.
So when the scene shifts to the bedroom and you see in the background the burning,
Yeah.
burning like, or whatever's burnt, like the tomb is burning.
Yeah.
After the desecration of his wife, the corpse. Like, I don't even want to. But like I thought it'd be
Again,
funny.
I
like,
don't
wouldn't it be
understand
funny?
why that happens. Why
I
is
don't
it in
know.
that movie?
I don't know if he bangs a corpse.
I thought it'd be funny if
I mean, like,
he
look,
definitely
they-
kisses a corpse.
They heavily insinuate that he fucked that corpse.
I think he wanted him to do that. That's what I think. But
Whoa.
Here's the
Whoa,
thing.
accusations.
I thought it'd been funny if like you see the fire in the top left, and you see a little tiny figure with two, and he's just throwing torches and lighting the rest of the city. I thought that like my mind
Well, like,
was that too. But
I also think it would have been comical if I'm like, it makes me sad that was a digital like thing you saw in the background. That wasn't like a practical effect. They had like lined up just right to look like it's far away. But like, wouldn't it be? I mean, it's like the perfect gag reel where Skarsgård walks into the room and he's like, "That's my house." Like, is upset that his house is burning.
Son of a
far-
bitch.
Yeah, God damn it. But instead, we'll never get that because it's a digital background. But
of course,
Yeah.
Also, do you think being bit by a bunch of rats would be terrible? Seems
Yes.
fucking
yes,
terrible.
that was a form of torture.
Yeah, just getting gnawed on by a bunch of plague rats.
Rats would burrow through you to the other side to escape.
All right, Too Fast, Too Furious.
Is
that
that
where
what
you
that's
got that
from?
from?
No, I got that from. I play a lot of Dungeons and Dragons and read a lot of medieval
Everybody
fantasy.
burns the bucket with the rats. And never mind. I may have seen Too Fast, Too Furious more times
Recently?
I don't know.
I remember a lot of stuff about that movie. Rat-based torture, I don't remember. I'm just going to be honest.
Yeah,
Fair.
so how he gets the cop to have the other cop back off the house so they can go in and steal the thing and the wall.
I just remember Tyrese
Anyway.
hooting and hollering a lot, but it's whatever.
Sure.
How did Tyrese Gibson come into a conversation about Nosferatu? But
You know what? Here we are.
I mean, I want you to understand that you took us there.
so here's the thing about it, is like
I mean, that's also the introduction to Ludacris to the Fast and Furious franchise.
Holy shit, he's right.
thank you.
Just saying.
Well, but we didn't get a certain catchphrase in this episode on a vampire episode, so I'm happy about that.
True.
What did you want me to say?
It's Morbid time.
No, Chris, dang man.
It's different when he doesn't think of
All
it
right,
himself.
so I'm interested to know. So you guys both gave it a thumbs down,
Yep.
and you both think it's does this have any rewatch value to you?
Not
think?
for me. I mean, like, so like if you told me to rewatch it for a certain reason, or like to watch it with like a different perspective, and like if I got 2.5 hours to spare, and nothing else going on,
too, which is
So-
an issue.
maybe in that regard, maybe. But I'm not watching this again if I don't have to. You know what I mean? Like it again, I don't think it was for me.
Well, so the reason would be, and I agree with Chris, there has to be a reason for me to rewatch this. One, my wife didn't like it. And
Same issue.
two is if I'm rewatching it, it's not just going to be for like my pleasure because like I didn't enjoy it very much the first time. It'd have to be like, well, maybe I missed something here
Yeah.
and there. I don't think I did. So
Yeah.
like I just don't see the value in doing that for me.
Yeah, but this is a personal thing. Like again,
Yeah.
like I can see why someone would have this on a repeat if they really dug it. You know what I mean? Like again, those Valley Golf Girls are going to own that thing on DVD.
Well,
and it's going to be fucking playing.
Well, that'd be the other thing too. Like
DVD. Jeez.
even if
Their
you
words,
did,
not
even
mine.
if you do like this movie, you're not sitting around and popping on Nosferatu as a casual watch, right?
Depends on
Like
what-
it's not fucking background noise.
depend on your living room decor. That might actually be true or not. You know what I
How
mean?
many candles
But,
you have around the house?
Yeah, exactly. How many pentagram like little like cup holders you got sitting down? You know, like coasters.
That would be a good idea for a coaster.
See?
I think there is though substantial rewatch value for this. I really do.
You can.
I would imagine the average person missed like 90% of like the really kind of intrinsic detail that was meant to be picked up. I bet you the average person missed like 90% of
I
it.
mean, hold on.
Well,
If
hold on.
you're-
Even if they did, do you think that matters to those
Well,
same people?
if you're missing detail that's meant to be picked up, didn't the movie fail to make sure you picked up the detail then? If it's meant to be picked up. If there's small love letters to the old Nosferatu, I understand why you could miss that if you have no idea. But like if just using your term that you used, if it's meant to be picked up and you missed it, the movie failed because it was meant
I
to be
agree
picked
with you
up.
somewhat.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you were meant to catch that. So if you didn't catch it, then the movie didn't do a good job of showing you that. But like if it's like small things and a lot of hidden gems in there, things that like you maybe didn't notice the first time because it's not made clear on purpose to be vague, then going back and seeing them in like that being like an aha moment, that's different. And I think that is worth it at times if there's enough of that in there. But like for this movie, I don't feel like I missed it.
Well, for instance, if you went back to that conversation I talked about earlier when you first get to the gypsy village,
yeah.
and if you listen to what they say, I bet you it has a lot more resonance than the first time through.
I
Like,
mean,
oh,
maybe.
they literally.
Well, yeah, because like because they say some things that like don't happen until you see it later. But like maybe if you've already seen what happens later, then you see what they say. Yeah, you could. There might be things that were like exactly predicted by the gypsies that you just didn't catch before. Until you watch it the second time, you know what's going to happen already.
Can I ask a question too about the nuns? Why do some of the nuns speak English? Don't you think it'd be more likely that they would speak very little
Because
English?
speaking another language is hard for some extras.
Yeah, well, because I mean, here's the thing: like some of them are speaking German. You know what I mean? Like, but there's like multiple of them that are just having full conversations in English. Like, I thought about that during the movie. I'm like, every other person we'd encountered to that point, besides Orlok himself, didn't speak English. And they're like, well, we're going to nurse you back to health, so you have to understand what we're doing.
Yeah.
I just thought that was
when
weird.
we call out that you're not okay.
Yeah.
I kind of want to take that. I mean, it's happening in Germany, so they're speaking German. We're just
The
hearing
whole
it
time we just hear it in English.
That's which I thought was somewhat weird. Like, then why would you choose to subtitle some of it?
Yeah, that's what I mean, right? Like they don't do that.
Well, okay, hold on. I just to navigate this
Okay.
from that perspective, because I thought that at one point
Like,
too.
that's an okay thing.
Maybe
to do.
maybe everything in German is acted in English, but we assume it's German. But then every other language that they don't understand is subtitled. So like he doesn't understand the gypsies because it's not German.
So okay, so it didn't bother me when they were subtitling some of the gypsy stuff.
But
'cause
would
obviously there's-
Nosferatu be speaking the language of the gypsies? I don't.
Well,
I think
here's the
he'd
thing.
be speaking German.
I assume though that because to get to his means that he knows English.
Yeah.
Right? Because here's the thing: his English isn't great. You know what I mean? Like he
Yeah.
speaks like somebody who doesn't.
Oh,
Isn't
we
a
are
native-
to be neighbors.
Yeah. He speaks like somebody who's not a native speaker, right?
Yeah, he speaks.
Which
like
happens.
He speaks like he's Hungarian.
Yeah, or like the middle of Transylvania.
Oh,
Oh,
that
Transylvanian. Yeah.
Yeah.
that's-
And then you get back to the nuns, and they're like, no, some of them can speak English. Sure, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe they can. Maybe I'm
Yeah.
just overthinking that. But I thought that whole because that's only like a 15-minute stretch of the movie where like you go from multiple subtitles to English to subtitles and not. It's just all in this weird thing. I don't know.
I thought it was an odd choice. I would have thought you just committed to the whole thing being in English because everyone's understanding that it's in Germany because it says 1843 Germany. So what they're speaking in language that we get, like because if this movie were in German and subtitled, how would you guys have perceived it? Knowing that we loved Godzilla -1.
Whole different kind of movie though.
I think this movie is a visual spectacle meant to be as much as it is, from acting and everything else. I think that the subtitles would take away from it a little bit because it's not simple conversations they're having.
Well, and the subtitles are going to stick out like a sore thumb because 90% of this movie's dark as hell anyway. The subtitles are going to be like on
Yeah.
the screen.
yeah, like what you're missing the peripheral stuff when you're focused on the subtitles like that. I think, and even so much as even when it's subtitled a little bit when whenever Nosferatu's speaking, whatever his weird mixed language is, like even then it's like I made sure I kept on peeking up at the screen because I didn't want to miss anything on screen either. So, but they purposely know that's going to be there, so they don't do as much of the screen. Like imagine them being in that scene I described where like he's in the darkness and he's in the light, and there being subtitles there you have to sift through as well. That'd
be pretty
difficult,
rough.
And like you might miss some of that, like that contrast that they're trying to show you. So I don't think it would have helped the movie at all. A movie like Godzilla is a little different. It's Godzilla, and then like things are blowing up. You know what I mean?
I don't think it would help the movie. Personally, I think the movie's fine the way far as the choice of what language is spoken and what subtitling is fine.
Well, that's got to be an artistic choice there too, though, right?
Yeah.
Like it has to be. There's got to be a reason.
I agree.
Whatever.
It didn't bother me at all, though. It wouldn't have bothered me to read subtitles either because I have the captions on all the time.
I'm just used to.
Yeah, same. But still, I mean, like it's different.
But it's different when you're hearing and seeing rather than reading.
All right. Well, I think I want to talk about the climax for a minute.
Okay,
sure.
And I don't mean that ironically either, because there is a climax, obviously, but still.
Do.
So, like, I feel, and I think Grayson, you're going to agree with this, is that it's a very built-up moment, and like the score picks up, and there's and Holt's character's running running against the dawn light and stuff, and like. And then it just isn't. You know what I mean? They walk in and she's like alive for like a second, and then she's not.
Oh damn!
And then it's like and then the movie fades, and then you get credits, right?
Wow.
It's such a long film for like such a not weird, but like such an odd climax and closeout to the film.
You, the whole last 15 minutes of the movie are like a totally different kind of feel to the movie.
And I feel like could have been more in some way. Like maybe they make like Holt's race back more dramatic, like him knowing he has to beat some clock, or trying to beat some clock, like running against fate itself, and like maybe get more of that, like of his desperation to get back. Maybe that gives a little more gravity to it in a way, or more drama at least. But instead it's like we get one shot of him running through the street as the sun's coming up. They burst in the door, and like she's like, I'm going to die, and then she dies. You know what I mean? And then it's like he's covering her eyes.
She's very aware of what has to happen.
She
to kill this thing.
Sure, but they're not.
But as the audience, he's not. Like we get two perspectives. That's her perspective and his perspective.
Sure, and I totally understand.
And they are bouncing back and forth.
Yeah, they do for a minute.
So. I get that, and like that, I think that's the same thing with the whole like the Aaron Taylor Johnson character and him being like, "You will not wake," and he doesn't wake up, and then. And Nosferatu's munching on the two girls, and the wife hears it, wakes up, and then gets munched herself.
Munched?
Well, bitten.
I don't know. Yeah,
but it's somewhat like that. It's just that dichotomy is clear there too. Is I think there was meant to be there between the two women and the two men. I think that was important to put there. But I think, it's important to us that she knows what she has to do, and I think. There's even a moment where like she's trying to relay what has to happen, and he's a dim bulb, but he doesn't get it.
Well, I think she doesn't just say it either. You know what I mean? Like, classic miscommunication of couples where like, I'm supposed to understand what she means when she says it, but she doesn't actually say it. But she's mad when I don't get it. You know what I mean? But it is what it is.
That's funny.
But like it tales old as time, right? But I
always comes back to your ex,
somehow every time. Weird. But like, I think that when she's playing out what she knows has to happen, like you said, because she knew, they knew 30 minutes before that scene hits that's what has to happen. She has that conversation with Defoe's character. That I feel like they could have done a little bit more of that because it was kind of like this build up and then like. Just a soft sigh as the movie ends.
It kind of feels like to me like the movie was running longer than they wanted it to, and they have an ending and they know how they want it to portray, but they want this ending scene to be like another half hour.
Yeah,
and now your movie's cut at like 3 hours plus. And you're like, well, we got to cut it down.
Yeah, fastest sunrise ever, by the way.
And they're like, okay, well, we have an idea and we can really accelerate this pace here, and maybe that's something that has to do with it, because it really does feel like it's completely out of place for the entire length of the movie to that point.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Again, it just seems odd that like...
I still think it's like, she's just like, just leave the windows open, babe. Leave them open. Let the boy watch.
Well, because at some point he stops what he's doing, and she pulls him back down, which goes with the conversation he had where he has like an endless appetite. You know what I mean? So like it makes sense that that's what keeps him there. But I don't know. There's a lot of things that I think made it into the final cut that there's got to be, from the perspective that I'm looking at it, I almost feel like there's probably a few different like ways that they shot this, and the one they landed on was like the highest artsy form, and there's probably something.
Well, it's probably the version they think will be most successful at the Oscars.
No, I think that's exactly that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
You
that's
think it's that kind of buzz though? You think it pulls that kind of buzz?
It already is, man.
Yeah, 100%. It is definitely.
Yeah, this thing's
like I said. I'll bet you this is not. I mean, this has already been. Yeah, we'll nominate it. Just get it made, Robert. Just get it made. I'm not saying it's like the other one.
I don't know about that to that extent, but like a lot of things that I look at, there's best movie of the year buzz already for it and stuff, and best best lead actress is there. Talks.
Well, she's very good.
She's good in it. Yeah, and
are we ever really sure the movie does ever tell us about what sunlight does to him? What daylight does?
So
to
again,
him?
though, this is one of the movies like we don't have any real vampire rules here.
I mean, the one thing they say is
because
that
Dracula and Nosferatu, like the legends are always different on what hurts them and what just takes away their power.
Well, so this is specific to like the whole Nosferatu thing, is that like he literally has to sleep in the soil that he was buried in.
Mm-hmm.
So like the sunlight is one problem, and the fact that he's out at that time, I think it's more of a time-based issue for him than it is a sunlight thing. Just happens to be the sun's out when the first cock grows. You know what I mean? But like he has to be in the soil that he was buried in, is like the legend. That's what's important. And he obviously wasn't there. You know what I'm saying?
Well, but he seemed to just like hop around when he needed to be somewhere. Like he just back in the. That's why I don't get.
Who fucking knows? That's the thing we don't ever find out in this movie.
Like in that conversation there, in the first conversation that Holt's character has with him, he tends to like zip around the room at like lightning speed.
Dog, he was busy.
What's that?
He was busy.
He had work to do.
He was engaged in other activities.
All right, fair.
He wasn't thinking about zipping around.
Hey, one track mind.
Thinking with the wrong head. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Guys, I don't know.
Tails all his time.
I mean, listen. Also, don't party all night if you're not ready to see the dawn, man.
That's
I'm
right.
telling you right now.
So again, we're kind of that part of disappointing because like we're kind of unclear. Like, I don't think because like it would have been Defoe's character that said it. Like, no, if he's in sunlight, he's dead. Like some rendition of that. I'm not, gonna deliver the line, but it would have been him that said it. I don't think I missed that. So
no, you didn't.
There's not really any rules here that are set up that we can follow.
The rule is he has to go to sleep in his goddamn box. The end.
Fiend.
Well, they expect to find him in the crypt too. Like it's not like so they, you know what I mean?
Anyway,
who's that? Don't care. Kill him.
Fucking kill him. Shouldn't have been there.
All right. Well, final thoughts then on.
Okay.
So here's the thing. Like, I don't really have much more to bring up here. It's like this movie to me is, like I said, it feels like they make this. This is exactly the artificially built movie to get people to be like, oh, well, you're supposed to love that movie. It's exactly what it feels like to me, and I don't like it.
Yeah,
and that's just where I'll stand with it.
I don't know. Your earlier quote resonated with me, where you said that like someone says, "Well, what do you think of Nosferatu?" And they said, "I thought it was trash." And they go, "Well, then you don't know cinema."
You don't know cinema.
Like that's the pretentious feel that I think the Pinkies Up conversation that some people will have like viewpoints on this film. If you can't appreciate this movie, then you're not you don't really appreciate cinema.
Sure.
And as bullshit as that is, I know those conversations are going to.
Oh hell yeah! Here's the thing. I guarantee you, they already.
Oh yeah. After talking to you two, my mind hasn't changed on this movie. Here's what I know. I know 4 people at this point. Myself, my wife, Roger, and his wife went to see a movie, and out of the 100 people in our combined theaters, 4 people didn't like the movie. That's what I know. Movie was just not it for me. I was ready to be. I was excited to see this movie because of the buzz I was hearing. I was ready for it to be just a very well made dark film, and like
it's dark.
It just didn't connect with me. I didn't connect with it. So that's all. I think the movie is fantastically made, and I can see where its praise is coming from. Dog, I don't get it. My pinky's not up here.
Sorry, I had to cough. I don't think
Good.
you guys know what cinema is.
Yeah.
No,
You
I mean,
You got to
I
make it
can
out of the
s-
studio.
I can
Keep that in mind.
understand certainly how you can watch that and be like, I just don't get it. I don't get what the hype is. I get it. It's just I've liked Egger's previous films, so I
Mhm.
knew I was going to like this. It was a sliding scale of how much.
Mhm.
It's just one of those things. Like it just connected with me. I kind of dug it. I
Yeah.
really did,
That's fair.
and I can understand if someone's like Best Picture nominee. Okay, I get it.
Yeah.
It's like I really get it. But like I can't see someone like Razzies. Like I can't agree with
I
you.
say,
on the
yeah, I
Razzies.
won't go.
Oh no, I would never
that.
say it about this movie.
No, listen,
There's no
I
chance.
don't believe this is a terrible movie or anything. It's like it's just not.
I
For
think
me.
it's a craftsman's wet dream of like it's wonderful wardrobe, it's wonderful set design and aesthetics and cinematography. Like it's like Roger said, it checks all the
Checks
right boxes.
every
Yeah.
box.
Yep.
But like, is that because it was meant to, or because Eggers that's what he strives to do?
I'm
That's
telling
the
you,
question.
if you had
It can be
AI
both.
write something,
This be it.
that would be like, hey, it has to do this, 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 this. Okay, cool.
It's got to be dark, brooding, a little spooky.
A little sexy, you know.
Got to show a little nip,
Yeah.
and then we're good to go.
Can we do a banging of a dead corpse? He's like, can we do that? Yeah, we can, okay, we'll do that. Too.
You get one.
Machine says yes. Machine says yes.
ChatGPT gave me a thumbs up, so I guess we're doing it. I again, it's one of those things. Like, I really think you should check it. If you're on the fence, I say check it out. But again, it's like it's one of those you'll know it pretty quick if you're not into it.
The thing is, I think everybody should watch a movie. You know,
Yeah.
you should never take advice from some asshole on
Yeah,
the radio.
yeah. If you're
if you're assholes on the
if you're curious, figure
Yeah,
it out
like
yourself.
listen, if you want to watch a vampire movie, it certainly is.
Here's
fun.
what I think's going to happen. This is my not so bold prediction. I think the Oscars are going to happen. I think Nosferatu is going to get a lot of buzz. I think it's going to get one or two things. And then I think a lot of people are going to go check out Nosferatu on streaming and go, "What the fuck is this?"
Very
I think that's
similar.
gonna happen.
Very
I don't-
similar to a movie called Poor Things.
I don't think this is for everybody. I think this is for less people than it is for more people.
Oh, I
And
totally get that.
and I think that's fine. I think that like cinema is a place for movies like this.
Yeah.
That's simple.
very very well said. I mean, you either get it or you won't. I mean,
It
it's
just-
not like you don't. There's nothing
just-
you have to.
And
like
ultimately, every movie comes down to you liked it or you didn't. So,
I think Blade 1's a better movie.
It is?
Entertainment wise.
All right, gentlemen, thank you for joining me for this discussion of Nosferatu. That does it for us on episode 10 of Post Credits Podcast, a podcast where we get to talk about movies.
Double digits.
Check
Yeah.
us out. This is been episode 10.
We
Check us
did
out
it.
on all the usual suspects.
we did it.
We made it.
Like, like
those
what?
are. I like pause for a second.
You
Like
did.
So Apple
There they are. Okay, Apple Podcasts, Podme, Google Podcast, Spotify, Amazon Music, and YouTube.
everywhere
Check
you listen to fucking podcasts. Also like and subscribe.
out- smash that subscribe button.
Download it. Do all the things.
All the things. Thank you, and we'll be with you next week. With
We got some year wrap up stuff to talk about. Some forward, some New Year stuff.
so I'm looking forward. I think.
Yeah.
we're
Yeah,
gonna
we're,
decide
we're, we're
on.
going forward, baby. Seeing what's the next few months.
2025 is very action packed as far as big movies go. So very excited to talk about January through April. What we're excited for.
Yeah, definitely that. Also, you guys ever notice like all vampires seem to have like terrible like finger hygiene? Like no one ever fucking cuts their nails.
we got to be able to get in there, bro.
And where?